Yeah, to set up, it's awful.
Like, what benefit do those? I mean, 3 inches is big. Yeah, sure, whatever. But
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of the Gollum's Gamers podcast. So today, it is our special Christmas episode that we are doing. So I'm here in a Christmas jumper, of course. We've got the elf costume on from Ash, which those may have seen, and the GBHL finale. Now, this is going to be one of our top 5 episodes. So I've called it a Christmas wish list or something like that, but it's going to be one of our normal top 5 episodes, and it's going to be a top 5 wish list essentially for MESBG. So we're going to be, we've all put lists together about changes we want to see in either the game or the hobby, but it's going to be our wish lists essentially. So I thought I'd say at the top here, I'm not too sure when kind of our next podcast or bat rep maybe after this, as obviously it's Christmas and various people are kind of back at home and things. So we will put out something else when we can in the very near future. But that next podcast will be our GBHL kind of season review. So we're going to be reviewing essentially the 2023 season. So look out for that one. That will be coming out very soon. But we are going to get underway. I thought I would start with my number 5 pick. So
you forgot to hype up the potential Gollum's Gamers
oh yes,
Christmas
yes.
bat rep.
Well, actually,
That
since you're
could
kind
be
of
coming up.
since you're the champion of this, would you like
Yes.
to explain more?
Okay, so with all things going well, we are hopefully going to have a Gollum's Gamers bat rep between myself, Sam, and James to see over Christmas who can be crowned the hero of Lemon, which is a little shout out to a trophy that we've got for the winner of this mini tournament. So it's going to be a round robin tournament. We're all going to play each other, and hopefully that will be up on the channel some point in the future.
Yes. Yeah. So, but yeah, not too sure when the next thing will be, but the next podcast will be our season reviews. Hopefully that will be up in the next kind of week or so. So without further ado, my number 5 sort of pick is quite a general one, but it's something I would, definitely wish for the game and everything. And I would wish for more support in general from Games Workshop.
That is a controversial one.
Okay, so obviously now there's a certain percentage of people that are going, oh my God, but we should be happy with the game. And oh, I've still got my 20-year-old models and I'm happy with those. Well, I'm a bit bored of those models, to be honest with you. And that's okay. That's my view. And if you like painting your Rangers for the 50th time with the sculpts, and yes, they're timeless and everything, I completely agree. But just looking at the other kits and everything that other systems get, and I want some of that support for our game, and I think we can all agree we would like kind of some more support in terms of models or a new book or something to kind of change up the game and the way we play it, because obviously we all play it so much. And when was the last release that we had that actually impacted the game? Obviously there was the Ringwraith diorama. What was the last release before that? It was Defense of the North related, right?
Was it the Emperor, Ratabi, all those sorts of people?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, the Defense in the North was the last book, but it might have been like Musgur and Razgush, maybe. And obviously, we're talking a year and a half ago. So
when are they going to bring out Lurtz on Fell Beast?
when are they doing it?
That is what we need.
They must be sculpting it by now, right? The amount
I think. Can you imagine if they actually did that?
You just stole Vince's wish list. Well, that's
I
know. To be fair, if the viewers didn't already know that Vince wanted Lurtz on Fell Beast after listening to the last 4.
Yeah, they came into this pod knowing.
Where have you been?
Vince's number 1 pick.
It's too obvious. It's not honest.
But yeah, I don't know.
Specific support would you want exactly? Like, do you want? Because I know I've always wondered why they can't do new plastic models, but people have always told me that the actual casting for the plastic models is so incredibly expensive that
it's a lot more. So this is actually some viewers may know, but some may not. So I did actually used to work for Games Workshop at a Warhammer store. So I had some kind of insider info on this stuff. Not really. I was told basically nothing while I worked there. But yeah, kind of making plastic kits is a lot more expensive. And they don't really get too much return compared to their other game systems from Middle Earth kits, so that's why they can just make them in Forge World resin, and that's just much easier and cost effective. But they've been doing the plastic hero kits for the last little while because they're quite easy to do and it keeps us happy, sort of thing. Middle Earth fans tend to be more inclined to buy like the big heroes because that's cooler than troops anyway. So and most people are happy with the troops as they are, so that's fine. But I would just like, I guess, something to impact the game and the way it's played. New troops, new rules, kind of things to change up the game is something that we haven't had for quite a long time.
Do you want because I know one of the rebuttals to that is always like 40k gets a new edition. Is it every year or every 2 years or?
It's not every. No, they just had their new edition, but yeah, maybe like every 2 and a bit or something like that.
And it kind of like gets on top of people and like completely changes the game around. Whereas maybe the continuity of the game at the moment kind of helps with its growth. Because
yeah,
I mean, I don't know if you listen to I don't know if the viewers listen to Dewey's speech at the finale, but the league in the UK anyway, the GBHL went from 700 to 1,300 players last year to this year. So you could say that the game is the way that the Games Workshop are sort of, supporting the game at the moment is working with the limited support.
I guess my kind of counterpoint to that would be, so the game is doing so well with very minimal support. So I think
imagine what it could
have support. Like, I think it's hard to argue that there is very minimal support. Obviously they are still supporting the game system. They're still selling everything, and so that's really, really good. But there is nothing new being brought to the table, kind of at all. They're making the old world as well. The Forge World team, a lot of their resources are probably pulled to that. So
yeah,
we appreciate that. It is just a shame to not have new content coming for new players to be like, oh yeah, I can try this new thing. That's come out, and that might encourage them to play more rather than using older stuff. Everyone likes new things, I guess.
I will totally agree with you. Every time you see a Warhammer shop, often venture inside trying to hunt for any piece of MESBG on the shelves, and it's like you can never find anything. Maybe the starter box set a couple of years ago, but
maybe
now
the store that I worked in, it did actually have kind of a whole shelf with a Mummock, the rule books, the starter box, and like lots of the plastic kits, so like Treebeard, Dernhelm, things like that. So it did actually have compared to most stores. But I would just like more support in general. I'd be very curious to hear the viewers' comments on that, because I know it's
what sort of support would you guys like to hear?
Let us know. Sam, any comments from you two on that one?
Yeah, no, I kind of had like a new supplement / new edition as one of my picks, so I certainly removed that. I do agree.
I've gone very broad, because it's a very broad topic. But I just
I completely agree. I think the game needs a little bit of a freshen up. Maybe get
a sprinkle,
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe people are getting a bit bored of the meta, might be getting a bit stale for them. So it's just nice to have something new to kind of, theory hammer about and all that. People love doing that. They love talking about
our whole channel is theory.
Exactly.
That's all
that's the bedrock.
It's
the bedrock of our channel.
Yeah. And it's just,
people love people love just, talking about if the new thing is going to be like good, if it's going to be crap,
hype, isn't it? Yeah,
exactly.
And people got excited and everything about the Ring Wraith, diorama, even though I think a lot of people are quite disappointed that it wasn't more. So imagine if there was an article put out tomorrow that there's this big new supplement coming, and there'd be a lot of buzz around it, and it's just they're not taking advantage of that. But I'm sure there are reasons behind it. But so that is my number 5 pick. Anyway, to kick us off, we haven't really had a conversation like that before on the channel about kind of the game and the direction that it's going. So I thought that'd be a good way to kick us off. So Vince, your number 5 pick for us.
That was me. I think I mentioned this before. So my number 5 is to make Maelstrom deployment alternating.
Woo! I had something about Maelstrom in mind, but it wasn't that. Okay, do you want to?
Okay.
explain your kind of reasoning behind that?
I just, you hear a lot of people complain about how, they've lost the game before it started. And that's down to the swinginess of the Maelstrom deployment rules. So like one dice roll it can have a massive impact on the actual game, which is a shame because you want the game to kind of be played to the end, not knowing like who's won. But in most situations, if you win priority, you are kind of on the back foot, and it's a shame. I think if you make it alternating, I feel like it will make it fairer on the person who's like kind of who would have been at a disadvantage before.
When you said about the one dice roll thing, it's a big reason why, touching on what we just talked about, a lot of people do like the Middle Earth system, especially people that come over to it from other game systems as well, is that in like 40k, for example, I'm not sure if it's like this now, but while I was working at the Warhammer store, there were certain armies in 40k, because you do your entire turn in 40k before your opponent does, where you can essentially table the other person before they've literally done it. And like that effect is something that doesn't exist in Middle Earth. So it's like, that's really, really good. But then if you have something like Maelstrom, where like you say, you could essentially kind of lose in quotations before you've even done anything, or you've rolled one dice, that's something which I think we should probably try to eliminate, which is probably a good thing. What do you think?
I'm trying to think of a way to play devil's advocate with that, but I actually just really like it.
What about because I had down doing +1.
Oh, is that what you had down?
Yeah, like either +1, -1 or something. Like you can choose. So but maybe not on turn 1, but on turn 2. Because like you could keep on rolling a 1 with a warband for like 4 turns. And then
so you think giving everyone just like the Madrigal or the Gurits roll is enough?
Maybe after turn 1, it could help a lot.
I'm definitely more against that, because Madrigal, Gurits, and Lurtz have that like as a special ability, whereas I think Vince solves the problem of Maelstrom without, like, I mean, you could roll 1-1-1, but at least then your opponent isn't all on the board. You don't know what's going to happen.
I don't think it does solve Maelstrom.
No? Do you think it makes it worse?
I think the issue is with the rolls.
Yeah, like say if someone comes on, they roll a 4, then so my opponent rolls a 4, then it's my turn for my first warband. I roll a 2.
Yeah,
that's still just as that's arguably potentially worse, because then you could place me. So say if my army's here, you could place me in the center, and then that means it's the opponent's go again. They roll a 6, then they go the other side, and then you can no longer collect your army altogether because there's no space on the board edge left, which means you're forced into the side or the other board edge. But if you did it, normally you could have everything together regardless.
Yeah, like it's where. Sorry, Ash, go on.
I was going to say, I guess it allows, they roll well, you roll poorly, they roll well, and then you just hope to roll well as well. And then obviously you sandwich, like you said, you got your 3 warbands. You then go on the right or the left, and now you've got 2 sandwiches to kind of play against.
I feel like you'd have a case of there'd be more instances where your army is more split than it was previously with the Maelstrom how it is currently, and a lot of armies obviously do rely on bundling together, having XYZ with them. So I don't know if that does fix it or not.
I think the big issue is with the drain on resources, and like I understand that having the rule on certain models like Magio and things is like a cool thing for them, but I guess I would rather have Maelstrom be better overall than keep that just for those models. Obviously, I'm not sure if that is the best way to solve it. I guess like from personal experience, I had a game at Unnumbered Tears. I'm sure everyone's had a similar sort of story as well. But I had an army with like 9 might, and then by the time I marched on turn 2, I had 2 might left. So I had to spend like 6 might essentially to get my army together, and I only had 9 to begin with. And at that point, the game's essentially over. Kind of. I mean, I've got 2 might. My opponent has like 10. You know, it's not looking good. So I just think having the +1, -1 as well, because if you're on a 2 turn 2, at least you could, you know, score down. I just think the drain on resources is probably the biggest issue. I think obviously you've got things like with, you know, ballistas and war beasts and things with the trample and stuff. Obviously that's a different kind of case, but I think overall, if you just roll poorly, your army's not on and you have no resources.
I guess it is a.
Oh, Garnish.
I was gonna say, I guess it is a dice game. So like you say, you roll poorly and then your army's not on together. But it's the same in the non-Maelstrom scenarios. If you roll poorly, you don't win any combats, and all your warriors get killed.
It's
kind of like it is a dice game, and I guess taking the sort of, I mean, coming at it from a slightly different perspective, that story of you having to spend 9 might at Unnumbered Tears is also quite fun, just in a different way. Like it's not all about.
I mean, it wasn't that fun when I then lost the game.
Yeah, but it's still like a random thing. Like that's a good fun story to tell.
I think the argument of saying like, oh, you know, it's a dice game and you could roll really badly and lose combats. It's like you could roll really badly, but you're a D6 army and then you don't die that much. But having something very detrimental happen to where you're now at a huge disadvantage to win a certain scenario because of a couple of rolls. It's why Use the Prize and Heirlooms can also have the same sort of issue. I think that's the bucket that Maelstrom falls into.
I don't disagree with you. I was just putting that. That some people, some people I hear.
I disagree in the sense of that Maelstrom is different to Seize the Prize and Heirlooms because the Maelstrom rolls aren't worth VPs.
Yeah.
When you pick up 4+ instantly, you're instantly at a 5-0 advantage.
That's fair. Yeah. I think it's more in that bucket than it is in the you've just rolled bad sort of like.
I don't mind the having +1 on turn 2.
Yeah, I still want it just be like odd, wouldn't it?
I think +1 is it would be okay because I don't mind having like being able to roll a bad turn of Maelstrom and roll, because you don't need to might it. Of course you can might it. It's good to might it if your army depends on being together.
It's like, can you survive the initial
but like
bad luck? Yeah.
But it's also a bit of skill as well. Like to know when to might, when not to might, when to might down, when to might up.
This whole ground and you roll 2 OK warbands, you spend 1 might on 2 warbands to come on together, and your third warband you roll a 2 and then you leave it and they try gank that warband as fast as possible, but then that fails. They've committed X amount of portion of their army to there, not in the center at this point. So it's like I don't see Maelstrom being so unbelievably like if +1 if your army doesn't come on the second turn would alleviate that. You've rolled double 2 or you've rolled a double 1. You've mighted it down first time. Then you're hoping for at least a 3+ now.
Yeah, like, I don't think having no bad luck in it is what we're trying to remove.
I think +1's fine.
But are you saying that you automatically get a +1?
I don't know why I mean, like in Recon, for example.
Turn 2.
From turn 2. Yeah. Like why do they...
But if you roll a 1 first turn, then the next turn you roll a 1, but you get an automatic +1, makes it a 2, which is then even worse for you.
No.
It was a
1.
No,
but you can choose to +1 or -1 is what it should be.
That's what I said. I said, is it automatic? And you said yes. So, I mean,
sorry.
Optional to choose it up or down.
Sorry. No.
I think I agree with all of you. But the thing I was trying to get at was, yes, there's bad luck in this game. I just don't like that it's that one dice roll at the beginning, which is so much more important than the rest of the dice you're going to roll.
Yeah.
Arguably, that's also the case in non-Maelstrom missions.
Because if you speak, Sam's about to tell you 10 examples of when just on pure deployment roll.
I've lost
the
so many
game.
games with deployment because they've won board
It's
edge.
not as important though, is it?
No, it can be. You can
On some
instantly
maps.
Well,
At least
then
that's you get multiple rolls.
that's the TO. That's the TO's fault then.
Yeah, because that shouldn't really be the
Yeah,
case
it shouldn't
very
happen.
often.
The board
Like,
edges
it
should
can
be
but if
quite
you
even.
have like really cursed bits of terrain, which probably shouldn't be there in a tournament setting anyway, then you know that's what would create those.
Like, I think it was the terrain was fine, but I was playing Seize the Prize, and you know I had this massive bit of woodland in front of me, and the prize is there, and his board towards the prize is open. So
That's quite interesting though. So if you had brought that up with the TO, do you think he would have changed the board?
Probably not.
No, I don't.
Because I've spoken to TOs in the past about it, and they'd be like,
because he then picked
probably would have.
He picks deployment edge. I go, that's so unfair for me. I'm going to lose now.
No. If you bring it up before you roll.
Before you roll.
Before you roll, if you bring it up, I'm sure the TO would be like, yeah, that's kind of too important to.
It depends if they choose that you can only play, you know, across. If you can pick all board edges, it's hard
to eliminate.
It's hard to build a board that can accommodate for those all four sides.
It is very hard. But the thing where you say there's like a piece of woodland kind of right in front of the 12-inch line or whatever, obviously things like that.
That's not fair. Yeah.
Just to touch back on quickly what we were saying about the +1/-1, I think like, you know, in Recon, for example, they have the +1 in Recon because I think they've realized if you roll poorly, that's really detrimental to your ability to win the scenario. I think an element of that also applies to Maelstrom. So they've clearly felt that it is, you know, relevant for them to add that in. So I think it should be the case for Maelstrom probably as well.
It's definitely an interesting discussion.
It's a hot topic, yeah.
I wonder how other people feel when they play Maelstrom. Have you ever been so brutally have the dice gods poo-pooed on your head and you've had a terrible game? Or do you think that some of the terrible situations you've put yourself in by not knowing when to mic up or when to mic down and that sort of stuff?
It's like when you come on the board with your drum, right, Ashley?
Oh yeah, that was incredibly daft from you, mate.
I was currently bleeding at this point in time. I will have the viewers know. So, yeah.
We'll talk about that story maybe in the end of season review.
I wonder if we talked about that at the time. We did do a review for City of Kings.
Totally
we must have actually.
You some pictures of it.
The keen long-time viewers.
Stephen Denby will know exactly.
Shout out to you guys. Okay, so that's Vince's number 5 pick. Sam, what do you have for us?
I don't know. Let me have a look.
They're a bit sparse on picks tonight, ladies and gents.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go for. I've said this before, and because it is just abhorrent the fact it's not in the game.
Can I guess?
What?
Canned chariots don't count as banners.
Yes, that is literally it.
That is it.
Literally put Khandish King as a banner. Why? Full stop. Ridiculous. Full stop. Abhorrent. Full stop. I mean, it's a personal gripe.
It is. Yeah.
However, please, can you just make it not a banner effect and just make it a banner? That's all I ask.
It's on your wish list.
I've said it previously. I think it's in the top 5 rules to change or something.
Yeah.
It is so deserved as well.
It's so annoying. It's so annoying.
Actually, are you pouring yourself a well-deserved glass of something as well after moving into your new house?
It's a well-deserved new house prosecco.
Yippee! Let's get a little cheers to that, mate.
Cheers, gamers.
Let me go get a Corona.
That is so tappable.
Next tonight instead of my usual Moretti.
We've got a personalised moving in prosecco with a nice little message from the mother.
Pretty tappable.
It is a personal vendetta of yours, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, it's really simple, and I'll probably you guys will probably hear me moan about it more, but I just don't understand it, and it needs to be changed.
A model can carry 3 physical banners every model in the army carries a banner, but yet none of them count as a banner.
You can literally have a warg in this game carry a banner, but you can't have a man with a banner have a banner.
It's just an oversight.
So what do you mean?
Yeah.
You can have a warg carry a banner.
You have a warg carry a banner, can't you? Or a troll?
You can't have a warg.
You can't have a warg.
No.
I think it physically has
You
to
can have lots of
carry-
odd
has-
things carry banners which shouldn't be able to carry banners.
Yeah, Elliot, I don't think
It says like
warg carry a banner.
if it looks like it physically is capable, and it says like
Yeah,
spikes.
you can have other things carry banners that shouldn't be able to.
So like if what's a good example? If a warrior of Minas Tirith with a banner died next to a hobbit, the hobbit could pick up the banner, for example. But if a warrior of Minas Tirith died next to an eagle, it wouldn't be able to pass it over.
Yeah.
Eagle with a banner, OP, 60 mil base.
But yeah, and change your king to make it just a banner, an actual banner, so it matters in those very few scenarios that it comes up in. Khan's not exactly a played army to begin with. It's more on the niche side because of how expensive it is if you buy it from Games Workshop. So give those legendary people that have the army, give them a break. And make
Those are legendary people.
Hell yeah, you're a legend if you use Khan.
Yeah.
Hashtag foreshadowing.
Do you guys remember when you could give eagles axes?
You remember that guy in the ether?
There was a very old rule which got very, very abused by a lot of players.
Pay 10 points and give your eagle an axe. That's pretty OP.
I don't actually remember the points, whatever, but people were sticking axes on eagles, and it was just an
Pretty
absolute
That's
abomination.
Yeah. Okay, so that's going to do it. Sam's number 5 pick, Ashley.
So I've got a list that I feel quite passionately about from all of them.
Okay.
We've done, what haven't we got onto yet? I think I'll stick with a really, really basic one, and that is that Storm the Camp should change its deployment to be halfway diagonally across the map. Exactly. Actually, not the same as retrieval, because the retrieval deployment is also really irritating. Storm the Camp deployment should be just a direct line, corner to corner, and then your camp is still 12 inches from the corner. Woo! It would just make it so much more fun. Like, the last thing people like to do in MESBG is just have their army and just for 4 turns have to just push it forward. It's just so, because like the fun and the skill of the game is obviously like when the lines are together and you're trying to make a good play, or you're fighting, you're rolling dice. Nobody, I mean,
considering as well,
let me know if you do like just moving models aimlessly around the board for ages.
Considering as well, when because kind of in every scenario there's break VPs. It's not always break unbroken, but a lot of the time it is. And if by the time you get there, you don't even have time really to actually fight the opponent and get towards those VPs, then like, there's so many left on the board.
I mean, let's have, how many of you have been playing a game of Storm the Camp, and the first turn you go, you've got priority, or your opponent's got priority, and your opponent just goes, just move at the same time. It makes no difference. Let's speed the game up. Has that happened to you?
Hell yeah.
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 So exactly, like that's if there was any purpose or any strategy, that wouldn't happen. So like it's just an irrelevant deployment that wastes time for no reason. So
what about Storm the Camp as well?
Simple change.
Like, I literally cannot remember the last time I played Storm the Camp this year.
You haven't played in ages, yeah.
Literally cannot remember. Now, in our season review episode, we'll be taking a little look at some of my stats that I've been tracking this year, and I've been tracking every single scenario that I played. And Storm the Camp is very low down that list.
I had a spreadsheet at the start of the year, but I haven't actually updated the spreadsheet, I don't think, since I won a
I'll be able to see physically the last time I played Storm the Camp. I'll be able to tell you the exact date and who I played.
To be fair, I do think it is potentially purposely avoided
That's
by,
what.
by some TOs.
Yeah, and there's a reason.
It may not be.
Are you throwing shade in there, Sam?
It may not be.
Are you saying that it could actually get re-rolled if somebody rolls it?
It may not be accurate, and I don't know who would do it. However, it's
Would the
potentially maybe re-rolled.
Would the TO Elliot Shilling law potentially re-roll it if it was brought up in the Gollum's Gamers Lemon event?
You saying
Who
it's gonna be the
knows?
TO of the event? Let's go.
Well, yeah, you're cameraman, TO. You can do
Yeah.
whatever you want.
But yeah, change the deployment. I agree.
Change it.
It's a need.
But don't change it to the retrieval deployment either, because the retrieval deployment is so irritating for no
to
reason.
set up. Yeah, to set up, it's awful.
Like, what benefit do those? I mean, 3 inches is big. Yeah, sure, whatever. But those 3 inches don't matter. They're so annoying to set up.
It's like you have to like put your tape measure across the whole board.
But you have to get it
slightly
to avoid
move
the
terrain. Yeah, and it's just awful.
And then you have to get another tape measure or a little 3-inch widget, and then do a
dice along the
20
whole
dice line.
Sam,
then you have to do it the other side.
At the finale, you know that we both played a gentleman called Ian.
Yes.
So he did tell me that he watched our podcast actually, so he may be watching. So shout out Ian. Obviously, he said that he hadn't really played the game in a very, very long time, and that was his first event. He used to play like over 10 years ago or something. So I was like, I played him in Retrieval, so I was like, okay, so this one takes by far the most amount of setup, and he basically had like 5 minutes of me saying, right, hold this tape measure, and then wait, okay, we have to roll for the deployment first. Okay, so do that, right. And now hold the tape measure this way, right? Okay,
the other way, yeah.
The other way, get the dice out. Like, it was just so, I felt like an idiot explaining it to him. But obviously that's the way it is. But
both of those scenarios could just be cut the board in half, 24 inches, exactly the same as Lords of Battle, but just corner to corner as opposed to side to side.
Yeah.
Everyone would be happier. The world would be a better place. Santa Claus would be real. Everything would be great.
What? You're an elf, mate. Why just...
He is real.
So that is why my number 5 pick is to change the Storm the Camp deployment.
Lovely. Love it from you, Ash. Okay, my number 4 pick is make Gandalf the White better. Something we've talked about.
Jesus.
But we have talked about this before, but Gandalf the White is probably my favorite character from the films. I've watched the films hundreds of times, and I've never used Gandalf the White in a game of MESBG.
You're not?
No. That might be my fault. Okay, I get that. I could go get the model. It's a great model. I would love to buy it. I wouldn't like to paint white.
The most expensive good hero.
But there is no reason why I would do it. Like,
see,
I get that he's not actually that bad, and then maybe I should. But there's so many other good options in
Minas.
It's
great fun with the Eagles. I'll tell you that.
You totally did use him at that event, but like, I would love to buy that model. And I want to use him. I think he's the favorite character for lots of people who grew up watching the films and everything and who play Middle Earth because they love Lord of the Rings and everything. And I'm one of those people, and I've never used Gandalf the White, and that sucks. So he needs to be better.
I have got an incredibly nervous idea that is a pick on my top 5 list, linking to Gandalf the White, that I will say next. Keep some of your thoughts, Elliot.
It's a pretty cool model. Things I would totally want to use them as well. Like,
do you mean the plastic model, or do you mean like the profile?
Both. Yeah, like the plastic model and him as a profile. Like, I think taking him in a Minas Tirith list and doing well to a point of on top tables at tournaments, that does appeal to me, because that model is, you have to use him. You have to use him essentially perfectly to make 240 points back.
You don't make even if you use him perfectly, you don't have a reroll to cast.
So you still don't.
With 4/5 spirit and with the 4+ source of blast 1 and a 3, and the fact he's 3 attacks on the charge, you have to play it perfectly, but you
have to play at 1,000 points so you can 4/5 spirit, Hurin, Faramir, Boromir.
I would love to take him. I might take him to an 800 point event this year. I might just do it. I would love to.
Yeah, I think him and Hurin could be best buds.
him, Hurin, and what Madrill, and just
Yeah.
spam guys. How many models would you get with that Ash as our Minas Tirith, roughly?
You get 40 something.
Would you get 40?
Yeah,
Okay.
easily.
You get 30, 37 if you take a bolt thrower as well. Yippee!
Did you get, because Boromir is what, 215, and you get like
Oh, okay, of course. Yeah. Like, okay. So you're just looking at a normal 800-point list.
You
And
just
Ash, like,
compare
you would
him
usually
to Boromir. It's just,
you would, yeah, but like you would usually take a bolt thrower in your 800-point list and get mid 40s or something. So if you take out
Yeah.
Boromir in the bolt thrower, put in Gandalf shouldn't be too different. Yeah. So I might do that, but I would like him to be competitive, and that, you know, I can't remember the last time I saw him at an event. You know, just the fact that you never even see him, and
you
he's
take him and Boromir. That's it.
can be written tackle.
That's what Jay Clare did at an event, didn't he?
Okay.
Don't know how long ago.
But yeah, like the fact I can't even remember when I saw him last, and he's probably the favorite character of a lot of people. That just really sucks, and you know,
Yeah, no, I respect that.
yeah,
is a real shame.
yeah. So that is my number 4 pick. Vince, over to you.
Yeah, so my number 4 pick is going to be quite controversial.
Oh, here we go.
Go.
It's fun.
Buckle in.
It's fun. We all like a bit of fun.
We do.
Um,
It is the Christmas episode.
Yep. So I want banners to give resistance to magic. But
I was not expecting
but
that to drop from Vince.
Yeah,
To make
but-
Saladin better.
in return, no. So this is the
Sam is
stipulation.
leaving the pod immediately.
This is the stipulation. Only warrior banners,
Oh.
and also you take away VPs for banners.
Vince, that is 2 picks in 1 right there.
No, it's all. It's all on
That is 2 wishes on your list.
No, he wishes for better banners. His wish is better banners. This
yeah.
Totally
is-
one of my picks. Right, well, we're gonna have to discuss these separately because they are 2 completely different. So go on. What's
So
your,
what do you think?
argument for the resistance to magic sort of thing?
It gives heroes a little bit of a boost late game, because I feel like magic can really dominate. It is a bit powerful. So if you give them that chance to kind of shrug off a bit of magic in the late game, it can really help, I think. And it's only like a tiny range anyway. I'm not saying like 6 inches, like 3-inch magic resistance and the reroll. Just gives you something a bit more for magic defense.
Ash, Sam?
Because like no one likes running out of will and then just basically not being able to do anything to the hero.
Potato.
It's just like guaranteed. Whereas if you've got the banner standing next to you, it's not guaranteed, but you have a chance.
I totally like that. I think it also gives you as a player a choice between taking a hero like Boromir or Suladan.
Exactly.
Because currently you would always take Boromir and Suladan over regular banner, whereas you could take Hurin, who suffers a little bit from magic,
Do you like
and
that?
the regular banner.
And a regular banner.
And the regular banner. It just gives you more. It definitely changes the game in quite a fun way. So, I don't mind that at all, mate.
Think of that. I do like that actually. Sam, what do you think?
He hates it, Precious.
Getting ready.
Not that I hate it. I don't think I see the need for it. I think that's my thing.
Fair enough.
Is this because you're running Witch King Saruman?
No, I think the argument for, it's only a 3-inch radius. What you really care about to have resistance to magic, you can very easily fit it in that 3-inch radius, i.e., 2 big roads with their horses and the banner itself. You don't no one realistically cares if their whole army isn't resistant. Yeah,
You know what you should make it? You should make it a model that uses the banner for its resistant to magic effect in that turn cannot also benefit from the banner for that turn.
So you like pick, right? I don't know. Yeah.
Woo! Ooh.
I like that,
I prefer that.
right? Because then that's
because
So what you're saying is you think my version's OP?
I think it's a point where some heroes are inherently they're such good profiles, but they then fall short because magic
Of magic. Yeah.
Exactly.
and I don't think
Imagine like Azog in Azog's Legion, because
yeah,
like
I think the
Bogador, he
problem
gets
with it is
resistant, but he loses the armor.
I
In
kind
Azog's
of
Legion now,
having 6 might on some heroes.
yeah,
to
and you
just
can just give him resistance
math.
magic now. Yeah, yeah.
I kind of feel like I do get what Sam's saying is effectively every single army in the game will now just have a resistant to magic and have 25 points less troops. So it won't make a difference because now everybody has resistant to magic. It's not like you're
Yeah.
making a choice, you just have it as an auto include.
Could you also go I think the problem is when it comes to like the argument to go, am I gonna take Sul'dan or Boromir, or am I gonna go for a resistant magic banner? I think it's that argument is kind of just inept due to Sul'dan just is too overcosted, not the fact that normal banners need to be improved.
Yeah, better.
35 points for a reroll within 3 inches is already very good. You take it in nearly every army you can.
I don't know. I like it. I like taking it because you get VPs in some scenarios. I actually don't really care about the reroll as much.
Oh, I think banners are really, really good.
It depends on what army you're running, but there are some armies where you don't really care.
Most armies, they're really good.
That's why I wanted to take away the VP. So it's basically like you're spending 25 points just for the rerolls and the resistance to magic.
See, I think it'd be fine just with the rerolls, take away the banner VPs.
So let's segue then into the banner VPs portion. So that was going to be one of
was that on your list?
So that was actually going to be my number 1 pick. I hate banner VP. Now there are going to be some people that sat there going,
yeah,
no, there's nothing wrong with banner VPs, Elliot. I've had this conversation with like Ali and Dave Farmer. I can't remember what they said, but they were saying, oh no, it's fine because of this reason, that reason. And but I categorically think that there should be nothing in the game which is making you say you are going to be automatically down on points if you don't build your list in a particular way. Now, in something like Seize the Prize, for example, yes,
I agree.
Dwarf list, if you come up against Crebain or something, for example, yes, you could automatically be down on points straight away because they can fly and get it before you can get there and run away. They could also not roll that 4+, for 3 turns in a row. Like there are other things that can happen. But you can literally walk up to the table and before you've done anything, you can be 2 points down. And that should not exist in the game. And I don't know what the argument is. Like, yes, you can try and bring that back and there's all kinds of, different armies that can do that in different ways. But starting literally on the back foot before you've even rolled for Maelstrom or spent that might to up your rolls or whatever it is, like you walk up to the table and you go, oh, like the chances of me losing this game are a lot higher than they are on the table next to me. And no one's done anything yet. I don't think that should exist at all in the game.
Yeah, I agree.
Sam?
I do agree. I personally don't really like banner VP scenarios due to banners being worth them, because it's not to say that you walk up to a game and you have a higher chance of losing, because usually the other VPs outweigh the banner VPs. Obviously, in the stuff like destroy supplies, you could equally both destroy 2. You could both break, and if one person has a banner on X hero or that they've hit at the back of the map with a small hero, you're then going to lose on banner VPs, which does feel pretty bad.
You've lost the game when you've played, like you've just said, kind of you've met the rest of the victory point conditions equally as well to your opponent. So you've played an equal game in that sense, but you lose.
Yeah, I think
that's not right.
I think the problem I have with banner VPs is like some of the scenarios, you read them and you think, okay, to the death, we're going to be fighting. We're going to walk up to each other and we're literally just going to smash heads and we're going to fight to the death. We're going to do what the scenario entails.
Yeah.
And then someone has a banner and they go, oh, hold up. Well, I'm not walking towards you. I'm winning 2-0. I'm not fighting to the death. I don't want to do that. I'm winning. Why would I risk losing?
Yeah, no, that is the sort of thing which I also don't think should be kind of in.
I think
the game.
the fact they
Same as like retrieval.
They change the way people.
What do you mean, Elliot?
For the bad.
Defending the objective is playing the objective, bro.
Ash, where do you fall on the removing banner
Okay.
thing then?
Yeah, agreed. Either you make it so that every faction can have a banner, or you just remove it and put the points elsewhere.
But even if every faction can have a banner, you're still saying if you're going to go to a tournament and you don't want to be down in a certain scenario before you've even rolled any dice, you have to include this in your list.
I think that comes down to everyone has the option to do it. That's the prerogative.
Yeah,
that is still forcing you to do that though.
Yeah, but we force you
have
to
the
take
ability to do that.
Yes,
yeah.
but it's
that's like saying that I have the ability to take a Witch King Suladan list, but I want to take the Rangers because they look fun. Although I'm going to have a worse time, and I've done it to myself.
Yeah,
It's still my. I think every faction should be able to have a banner. Like, for example, the Hobbits can't have a banner, but they should be able to have a banner. They could do that sort of behavior.
If every list can take a banner, I'm still going to be in the same position where I feel like I have to take a banner. That doesn't change that thing that I'm thinking, and I think that is the issue where the game is telling me if I don't want to be at a big disadvantage on the score immediately, I have to spend 25 points on this thing. That doesn't have to exist.
I think the fact for me, it's not so much that I have to take a banner or I'm going to be 2 VPs down. For me, it's how those VPs manipulate how the game is played for us. I think that's that thing I have. So
that side of the argument is also there and very valid.
That's the only problem I see. I see not playing the scenario in how it's intended because of banner VPs. Yes, I think that's wrong. I think taking what other ones have banners like supplies. Destroy supplies.
I actually don't mind it in just destroy supplies. To be fair, I think that's quite a good way that they've done that scenario.
I mean, yes and no, because again, you get I now don't need to go destroy any supplies. I can sit back, shoot.
Yeah, I'm just thinking purely for
and break them.
Yeah, and that's something because it's like, let's say you've got better shooting. It's I can protect my objectives, and I'm also gonna break them maybe while they walk towards me, or get closer to that. Be in an advantage in that sense as well. Yeah. And also I have banner VPs and they don't. But like with the shooting, for example, like they might shoot really well, but they might shoot bad. But there is, you could literally walk up to a table and you're down 2 points immediately. And that is something that you have to think about when you're writing a list, if you want to do well, in a tournament. And I think that sucks.
I don't mind that you are You're saying you have to spend 25 points.
You almost said have to there, though. But
no, I did say have to. I don't mind that you have to spend 25 points on something for VPs. The real issue for me is the fact that it's not available to everybody. I think that's where because you just get, for example, you take a cool list like Hobbits, and not only are you already at a disadvantage because Hobbits aren't very good, but you're also at a almost like a systemic disadvantage because you can't take a banner.
So would you take a banner every single time if you're playing a shy?
Yeah, definitely.
But what if you were a shy player and you didn't want to take a banner? You would be going.
Well, then you wouldn't be playing as competitively. Like I think you have to realize that you're playing.
I just think that you shouldn't be forced into. You're not forced, but you are through what you said, where you would just take it every single time because that is the most competitive way to do it. Because otherwise, you would be down on VPs. I think that conundrum shouldn't exist, in my view.
It's like, yes, the argument is, I guess you could, a lot of the lists that don't have options to take a banner then go through allies, and they then can
Yeah,
ally
together,
the banner
which
into that.
which is fine. Yeah.
So does that fix it?
But then it's like, oh, okay, I'm having to now use an ally to make sure I get those VPs, where just like that doesn't have to exist anyway. You know, then
This
everyone
is coming from
spend...
this is coming from the competitive standpoint of
yeah.
I need a banner, essentially.
But you
Obviously,
should be able to run the most competitive version of your list without, or a very competitive version of your list without the game sort of saying to you, 25 points of your 800, 99% of the
Isn't
time
much.
it's going to be allocated here. But I get it's not much, but like in the vast majority of cases, it's kind of saying you are going to allocate it here. It isn't oh, you should because banners are good. Everyone will still include banners because they are really good, but it might only be 75% of the time, for example. And you should have that freedom, I think.
what if I counterpoint that and then say you're playing an event at 450, 500 points, and you're using a list that doesn't need a banner, for example, Hunter Orcs.
Yeah.
They can still do just as well / win events without a banner because they don't need it inherently.
Yeah. So, that might make them, better because they don't need it. And, like me at 450, for example, I wouldn't take a banner with Hunter Orcs because I have enough, dice as it is. It is really good for the heroes. But, I think the game overall, every points level and every army, I just think should have more freedom in what you do with those 25 points.
So Elliot, can I ask, at Tom's contest of champions event,
yes,
you are forced to take a combating hero. Is that something that you're also against? Because you like to have the total free choice to be able to take whatever
but you're forced
like.
Because no, you aren't, because you know that Contest of Champions is happening ahead of time.
You also know currently that every event could have banner VPs. So I'm just trying to find out the difference between.
I just think saying you have to spend this last little bit of your points on this upgrade for your army so that you get, because you could essentially have your other, you can have a not so combat hero, right? Do really, really well for you. And then their hero could go badly, with their killing. Like a Glorfindor or someone could not kill very well. And you end up winning that game or drawing it or something. But if you still wouldn't turn up to that table and automatically be down on VPs.
That's fair enough. But I think that
I do see that argument there, though, because it is the same thing where Tom is sort of saying, if you want to do well, you should have to bring
you have to take this hero.
Which is the same thing as Games Workshop is essentially saying with the banner.
Yeah,
you have to bring that to get banner VP. So I do appreciate that.
So just to conclude, which of us would vote to eliminate banner VPs? Just completely, all three of you.
Yep.
And
solely due to how it makes scenarios play. I don't like how it affects it.
If the vote was that every faction had the ability to take a banner, would that be sufficient?
That would change the way people play.
I don't like that.
No, I don't mind that because, again, if everyone has the option to take a banner, everyone's going
to. I think that would be better, but
yeah,
I think there's still all the situations where if you give every army the access to take a banner, well, I might still be in the exact same position where I feel like I have to take one when I might not want to. So I don't think that eliminates that issue. Yeah.
So I personally think. Go on, Vince. I've talked for a lot.
No. Just quick. I like that some armies can't take banners. I think it's thematic. So I don't want to change that aspect.
Or what about, for example, so hobbits can't take a banner because that's not themey, but they could take a piece of war gear that acts as a banner for VPs, for example. So
right, yeah. I mean, it'd be better than
isn't a banner, but I mean, if everybody had access to those effectively,
Sure.
my point would be if you've got access to those two VPs in the scenario,
Yeah.
that's fine. And also,
Yeah,
because I
it's
do
better.
kind of like the fact that the banner is worth points because that makes it an additional target and it stops it being quite repetitive and boring, knowing break, leader. You then also have a third sort of focal point in the game. I don't know. I feel like the real problem with the banner VPs is that not everyone can get them. Whereas I think removing them completely does sort of take away from some of the tactics of some of the scenarios. But
I do appreciate that it's
you
like
know,
another sort of like, VP condition sort of thing that you can have
Yeah.
in scenarios. I'd argue that maybe there could be other things that they can do that, don't rely on what you do and don't have in your list.
Would making a Warhorn also be worth 2 VPs? So like
there you go. Something like that.
would that fix a lot of the factions that can't take banners?
Yeah,
Hobbits,
maybe like
definitely.
Hobbits and stuff.
If you take a Warhorn or a banner,
Goblin Town can't take a Warhorn
It might make Hunter Orcs
or
even
a
better.
banner.
So they can take a horn.
Wouldn't
They don't
affect
need a banner.
harm.
Still get the VPs. Yeah. Yeah, we've probably spent long enough on this, but yeah, banner VPs need to go in my view. So yeah, okay, moving on. Sam, your number 4 pick for us.
Blimey, it's still on Elliot.
No. This took a while. The banner VPs.
I'm going to open the floor to people here because I just wrote it down very briefly, and I don't know why I've written this down, but it needs to. I'd like to see this change. Is to somehow make no might monsters better, and
Give them
I
might.
don't know how that's possible.
Vince, give them might.
I don't know how that's possible.
I have totally got a thing about monsters on my list as well.
Yeah,
And this is something we can talk about for a little bit.
I obviously the answer is give them a point of might. Maybe give them will so that they're not as easily susceptible to instantly dying. But there's got to be a way to make your normal trolls. Eagles are a bit of a weird one because they can be helped out through Radagast and their fly. Like the fly is inherently just better. So maybe that's what I mean. Like I'm thinking of trolls. Cave trolls are seen as pretty good for what you pay. But
has anyone said anything about the Gundabad ogres yet?
Yeah, like Gundabad ogre, all the big Mordor trolls, Isengard trolls, the Gundabad ogre, the troll brute, like
Gundabad troll with scythe gauntlets.
Yeah, all those ones. They're just, I don't know.
Never see them. And if you do,
general, they're not competitive. You never see them on top tables. All round, they're just not very good. And I mean, I might as well just say, not my one for the next point, but this was one of my points, is that no might monsters in general need a points reduction overall. I mean, I don't think we ever came to a conclusion on how many points would a Mordor troll have to be.
Wasn't this when Vince picked the Isengard troll as
Yeah, we did talk about this a little bit.
We have talked about this before for all the historical listeners.
The historians.
I think I said as low as 75 points, and I still think they would be not seen.
It'd still be bad.
For a Mordor troll, if they were 75 points, which is obviously a 25% reduction in points, they would still not be taken in any Mordor list.
Exactly.
So where do we think the limit is? If they were 50 points for a Mordor troll, hypothetically,
you'd have like fucking 10 of them in a list.
50 points.
But even if you had 10 of them, they'd still just get a hero would just strike combat and kill 2 in a turn, and then do that the next turn and the next turn. Like they still wouldn't be good if they were only maybe 50 points. I don't know.
No, a points change isn't enough. You got to make them like really good.
What if you
No,
make them
okay,
30 points?
I'm make them strength 10.
How much? What would you say if you're going to make a Mordor troll 50 points? What does a cave troll go to?
37.5 points, 38.
Pretty nervous. An army of trolls.
Any no might hit. I think you could almost say any no might monster you could half in points, and they probably then only just be taken.
Is a cave troll 75 points?
Yeah, or 80 if you give it a spear or a whip, I think.
See, no, I disagree with that, because if you took
so the front line is fucking cave trolls.
You could literally have 38.5 times 18.
Strength 6 front line.
For 800 points, you could literally take a Witch King and like 16 cave trolls. And I actually don't hate that. How do you kill 16 cave trolls inherently that fast?
They're only 3 wounds D6, I mean.
Yeah.
But all 3 wounds, all 3 attacks.
You don't have much. You play anything with shooting, and they don't make it across the board.
Killed 4 cave
Shadow
trolls
Lord.
before combat.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is with the cave troll is that you compare it with a bat swarm, so that then makes it fantastic. But if you compare the pair of a bat swarm and a cave troll to just a Mordor troll for 10 points more, or an Isengard troll for exactly the same points, there I think you can see the discrepancy in why Mordor and Isengard trolls specifically are terrible.
I think they just need a complete rework. I don't think changing the points is good enough.
What about so by this logic is you're talking of 50-point eagles. So at 600 points, you have Gwai here and 9 eagles.
No, so I think you'd have to. I think maybe eagles would
scary.
No, I think we'd only change like Mordor, Isengard, trolls. I think. So
maybe it's only trolls that are the monsters.
Yeah, because I think eagles are its own sort of.
Yeah, eagles are right.
You shouldn't be able, like I don't think you just like drop an eagle into a normal list the same way you should be able to like with a troll. Like a troll is something in like the Mordor. Say you have like an 800-point Gothmog's army, army of Gothmog Legion. It's like it's a shit ton of orcs, and you should have a big centerpiece of that where your big scary troll. Everyone likes them. It's like that should be something you should just be able to drop in. Like. And it not be terrible.
At Minas Tirith or at the Black Gate, there are trolls rocking about. Like in the Mordor army, you've got troops, Witch King, Gothmog, and then a troll. Like there's always a troll around, but there needs to be a way to be able to incorporate that sort of non-might monster character type within the evil faction. Like eagles aren't really. You didn't have Gondor. And then eagles, like they weren't a team.
Yeah.
All right. So would you take this troll? So 5 wounds, a 5-up, feel no pain, monstrous charge, and
let's give it every special rule in the game.
And and heroes cannot heroic strike against them.
Yes.
I don't like I like the save. I think the save's really good because they're trolls. They might not feel the,
I'd rather make trolls a lot better than making them cheaper. So with that kind of profile, people start taking them seriously. I love Sam's like.
If you made a troll not be able to be strong against.
Yeah, no, that's too much.
What if the that rule, Vince, was active? So if you transfix the troll, then you could strike against it.
Fine. But then, I just want trolls to be really scary because in the movies, they are scary.
Jack Walker right now is rubbing his fingers with his 10 troll list, thinking this is the new meta.
I still don't like it because not all lists have magic, and then you're a case of
if you don't play magic,
kill this troll.
but the troll. But I think
it's my troll you can't strike against.
If you only had 3 attacks, though. Like the trolls only have 3 attacks. They can't.
No, it's got monstrous charge as well.
It's got monstrous charge with a banner. It's
yeah.
got 5 dice on the charge, 10 dice knockdown at strength 7, and you're telling me I
Yeah,
can't
Vince is
strike
making
against
Trump
this
good again.
monster? Are you okay?
You're loving life.
I think you give it more wounds and a 5-up save or something. Like the
Just
fact
make
that
it
it can
10
just be,
wounds, harbinger of evil. And then, like,
the fact that it can just be killed like really easily
Yeah, it's a shit.
makes it not worth the points. But if it's a lot harder to shift, maybe you just get more of the same where you know your opponent is just going to try and tag it with a troop. But I think that's
It's
I don't know
like
how you change that part.
my opponent, my round 2 opponent in the finale, he's a lovely guy. He brings, good and bad troll, and he's like really excited to use it. And then
Oh,
I just
dear.
shoot it in one turn. It's like, oh, it's dead. I'm really sorry, mate.
You know, did you guys know that I even owned this thing?
yeah.
I have can I tell
Yeah.
a story, please?
I've never
Yes,
used it.
please. Story time.
So this troll, our dearest Gollum's gamer for only the next 10 days, Ollie Martin, who has officially won a trophy. We were playing at the mighty Haven't Wargaming Club, and I had Lothlorien. I had Lothlorien, and Ollie had his Azog's Hunters and that troll, right? My Wood Elf Sentinel successfully made it under my control for 3 turns, and it just went. Ollie moved. It then moved 6 inches back. Ollie moved again. I then moved it 6 inches back. So he just had this 100. How many points are they? 110, 25?
Yeah.
Just my 25-point Sentinel telling it what to do all game.
I think the troll brutes are like 100. But yeah, I totally had that with an Isengard troll before as well with a Sentinel. It ended the game like almost on the board edge. Yeah. So
funny enough, my version of the troll doesn't actually like improve that situation.
I think maybe
No.
you give them a slightly smaller base.
The base size does kill them as well.
Give them a 50 mil. You can't give them a 40. Obviously the cave trolls are on a 40. I think that's fine, but I think like the big Mordor trolls are meant to be bigger.
Give them impact hits as well. Give them
I
just make them good, man.
I think the 50 mil makes it.
Like, I actually don't mind them becoming very, very strong.
Yeah.
Because they do, like, they are meant to be really
There needs
good,
to be a reason to take them. Yeah. That's why I think like a 5-up, save or something makes them a lot harder to shift. And like, I think it's fairly reasonable that if like some Minas Tirith warrior with his spear fucking like puffed it in his leg, it isn't going to really feel it. It's going nuts.
I think
to break that spear.
Whatever. Yeah.
Sam laughed about giving it Harbinger, but maybe you give it Harbinger only for itself. So like it has terror with a -1 if you want to charge it inbuilt, so it makes it a little bit more difficult to actually charge the monster because
maybe every
something
time
like that,
the troll suffers a wound,
it gains an attack.
it rolls a dice, and on the roll of a 6, whoever inflicted that wound takes a wound. So then that maybe here they don't want to chuck heroes.
What, like Sharku's riding dagger.
Yeah, something like that. So like, Aragorn King Elisar runs into the troll with the 4+, does 3 wounds. Well, now the troll gets to roll 3 dice to see if any wounds are inflicted. Maybe that,
No, we should give him a 2-up transfix as well. That you cannot resist. It's just you're just like stood in fear in front of the troll.
That you cannot resist.
You're paralyzed in front of the troll. With the love how he just went like this.
Almost as nervous as Dalamir's channeled smoke bomb of death.
Exactly.
Guess what we're going to talk about again, huh?
Yes, right. I think we should probably move on. Trolls need to be better.
Can we just say to the viewers, if you're going to comment on this video, please comment how to improve monsters, because it's something that the channel feels passionately about.
Clearly, yeah. So Ashley, your number 4 pick. We are only on number 4 now. Did you say it was going to relate to a pick I made?
It's going to relate to.
I remember what you said.
That was
Gandalf the White.
Oh, it's Gandalf the White. Yeah.
My number 4 pick, something I would absolutely love to see in the game, is a Defenders of Minas Tirith Legendary Legion.
Yeah.
And I think this is the way you can improve Gandalf the White without having to alter his profile, because obviously I know Games Workshop don't like doing that.
Did you think about the actual rules that you would put in the list?
So you could have a rule. I think instantly Gandalf the White gets a reroll, like for casting magic.
Yeah.
Straight off the bat. You could have a rule about lighting the beacons. So you could light the beacons for a turn and get +1 to wound or something for a turn. Then I thought that Denethor has to be your leader to start with, but if he dies, Gandalf becomes your leader, or like something like that, and you don't suffer the victory point losses for Denethor dying, but you would if Gandalf takes a wound. Something like this. And if Denethor dies, Gandalf gets a bonus.
I personally don't like having Denethor play any part in the list personally, because he totally didn't at any point during the defense of Minas Tirith.
No, but he was present, wasn't he?
Yes, but he played 0 part.
And he also does play a part, because he runs around shouting, "Flee, flee for your life!"
Exactly.
He could play it. That could be like a fun like dynamic in the Legendary Legion, that you want Denethor to die as quickly as possible. Your opponent knows this, so they might not kill him, and all this sort of like, dynamic that would make it also themey and fun at the same time. You could also, because
they should make trebuchets reroll to hit and wound.
I don't think trebuchets should be involved. You can take them, but they're not any better. But Avenger bolt throwers should automatically get swift reload for free. You don't have to pay for
even in the
points.
films.
No, but they're in.
I totally think they should
they're in
make
the
the
rule
trebuchets
manual
better, because I think they are quite a
You should reroll to hit.
staple of. I think they are quite a staple of the battle as a whole. Like, they're up on the corners, they're kicking the big boulders into all the orcs. There's lots of shots of the trebuchets during the films.
Yeah.
So I think, that would be a good thing.
I just can't believe that they wrote a Gondor at War supplement and didn't have a Defense of Minas Tirith Legendary Legion, because it would be so cool, and that's, you could give Gandalf the reroll, you could give him 3 attacks, because
I think you give him a fearless bubble.
Yeah, reroll, you give Gandalf a casting reroll, not resisting reroll, but a casting reroll. Then you give him 3 attacks, and you give him a fearless bubble.
I think maybe you don't.
Not worth the points.
I think maybe you don't include Fountain Court in the list, because obviously you would choose which profiles you have in the makeup list. So maybe you don't include Fountain Court, because obviously they're up like at the Citadel anyway, aren't they?
Way in the sky.
Yeah. So, but maybe you give Gandalf a fearless bubble and the reroll. It's centering everything around him, and he did essentially lead the defense. And like when the Nazgûl are all there screaming and everything, he's the one kind of rallying them on. So giving him the mechanic, I think, would be very cool.
But I think that's kind of.
Sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead, Vince.
No, I said allow him to cast in combat. Be quite cool.
That'd be lit.
Yeah, that wouldn't even make him overpowered.
Would that make him overpowered though? I mean, he is he is like half your army.
What if you make it where he can't
to be really good?
He can't spend he can't cast the same spell twice, and he can't target the same model twice for 240 points. Is that good?
No, it's not that good. I think it'd be
you cast command on one model and then immobilize on another.
I would rather not give him the reroll and let him cast on 2 people. I think being able to do that is way more fun than just having a reroll.
Yeah. But I mean, that is quite a nice way to improve Gandalf the White and create a really cool Legendary Legion and make Games Workshop loads of money. So like, come to me for ideas.
It's a double round for the Gollum's gamers. Yeah. Love it, actually. Okay.
That's my number 4 pick. Sam sat there in his chair about to hit a hard rebuttal.
Yeah, no, I like it.
Is that a unanimous love from the?
Yeah, I'd want Gandalf the White to be good.
We've had 2 Gandalf the White picks so far.
Yeah, I'd totally like him to be good.
Yeah, I think lots of people are in that same boat. So that's the Ash's number 4 pick. And to my number 3 pick, if I had a wish list this would be on my Christmas wish list on Games Workshop. I would like a Last Alliance starter box set.
Woo!
That is what, ever since I was a kid, my first ever army was Rivendell, the Last Alliance, you know, the scene of the elves swinging the swords. It's the stuff of dreams when I was a child. So if they came out with like the Osgiliath set, now it seems like they want to include terrain now. I'm not sure what kind of terrain you can include in a starter box set, but you include a new plastic Sauron kit, plastic Gil-galad on horse, and plastic Elendil on horse. 2 models that are really good on horses, you take on horses, but they don't have horse models.
When they...
Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, when they released the new plastic Glorfindel model that already has a model and not
literally
Glorfindel or sorry, not Gil-galad or Elendil, it was so upsetting.
Elrond also has a fairly recent Hobbit era model, but it's still a lot more recent than lots of things in the range, has a mounted model. So he's already got one, now he's got 2, and Glorfindel had a fine one already. And then he got a second one, and he actually had another upgrade already with the Arrestor pack. He got the newer on foot model, but Gil-galad is still stuck with the original 2001 model and has had nothing since then. So yeah, plastic Gil-galad, plastic Elendil, plastic Sauron.
Sauron has monstrous charge in this starter pack.
Right, maybe there's a Barad-dûr sort of legion that comes with this new source book or whatever will be coming with that. New troops or something. Yeah, so Last Alliance box set, I could just imagine the graphic on the front of the
glory.
Yeah,
you just have that scene of all the elves.
Yeah, or like Sauron kind of swinging down on Gil-galad and Elendil. Now you don't see them on horses in the films, which is fair enough, but that is something that I would really love.
They would be awesome sculpts. They would be so cool.
Imagine a plastic Sauron. That would be really, really cool.
What would that be, Elliot?
That'd be
incredibly terrible.
That's gonna do it. My number 3 pick. Moving on, Vince. What do you have for us?
I'll be very surprised if anyone disagrees with this.
Have you met Sam?
No, he's not. He's gonna love this one. He's not gonna disagree with this. So basically, make move offs the same as priority. So instead of 1, 2, 3 is evil, 4, 5, 6 good, you do a roll off, and then ties go to the person who lost it last. Woo!
That is such a good way to resolve that issue. I really like that.
Is this so? Obviously, Will's done this for Ripon. He did this as a special rule. However, this affected whatever your last heroic action, and you had to roll off 4, so that included heroic combats and stuff. And sometimes heroic combats don't really matter.
Yeah. So this is just moves.
Just moves. I prefer that.
Yeah, that's really good.
I prefer that because I know there's a few times at Will's event where I would have the bonus off after the move off after losing it, and then I'd do a free combat because that's in my list, and then I've just wasted that.
You wasted it, yeah.
I wasted it because I've used what I've had to use in my list. It kind of is counterintuitive, so I prefer just the move off one personally.
It's fun that because after Ripon we spoke, Sam, on the phone, and you said exactly that the fact that heroic combats and for example heroic shoots affected the roll off. Did we ever speak to Vince about this, or is he just
No,
it's just such a good solution?
He came out with it himself.
And I also like the fact that you're rolling against your opponent as well to try and win, and then because it just makes it more it makes it more engaging, the fact that you're both rolling dice, and then if it's a draw it goes to the person who hasn't won it. I think that's a really, really good solution.
It's pretty tappable from you there, Vince.
Yeah, I like that.
What's that?
Yeah, mate. Okay, that's his number 3 pick. Sam, what do you have?
Yes. What else do I have? I'm gonna go into one that I think I've spoke to you about, Elliot.
Have you now?
What Ash, and I don't really know how Ash is going to respond to it.
Uh-oh.
However, we will.
Oh.
So on my wish list, in which I don't know if I'll actually get any of these for Christmas. However, I may do a Christmas splurge of money, and, and that is, I mean, it's all credited to Mr. David Reed.
Shout out David Reed.
Shout out David.
Mr. David Reed, and
Oh,
I think I may delve into Moria Dwarfs. And Ash is going to go.
Kingdom of
Ash is
Can
gonna go,
I actually, the first Games Workshop box that Ashley Walger and Jack ever bought was the Mines of Moria box set and a 24 box of Moria Dwarfs. So they hold a special place in my heart. I want them to be more competitive, but they currently are trash.
See, I don't think they're trash, and I mean,
not that bad.
I haven't played them in a tournament for God knows how long.
I wonder why.
I mean, basically, no one used them. I think the last time I played them was when I played Ali in Aldershot, and at the finale last game, I got drew against David, and I'd met David at he's the organizer of Sterling, lovely fella, and he rocked up to the table with his Moria dwarfs, which was Balin, Gimli, and a dwarf king. He had about 6 Vault Warden teams, you know, quite a few Khazad Guard, quite a few Iron Guard, some Dwarf Warriors Shield, the Rangers, you know, Longbow, the throwing axes, all the stuff. And I totally just forgot that how many different units they can take. And I think it's because David's a good player. I think it's the play style very much appeals to me, because it's not you can't just play the army once and plug and play, and you know, it's not like anything else. There's no spear sports. You have to play a certain way, and it's not usual that you have to play like that, and that makes me want to play it, because it's not normal, and I do like my different armies. So I think on my wish list, some Moria dwarfs may pop up, which is pretty nervous.
This is something but you've picked something that is
already. I love the fact that this is a wish list that he wants to play, not something
this is a personal wish list. This is what I want Santa to give me.
Bro, just order some dwarfs.
Yeah, this is.
Is there anything
you can add anything you want to the game? You've gone. I just want a box of Moria.
Yeah. You said
what David Reed. The impact you've had on this man.
No, when you say
is there anything you'd like to change about? Is there anything you'd like to change about the Moria faction, Moria Dwarf Khazad-dûm faction?
No, I mean, I know what people usually do for, like, you know, the Khazad-dûm portion, and I haven't played Balin in so long, and for 110 points, whatever he is, he's so good.
Is he?
So good.
Vince is like, he's fucking dog shit.
Yeah. He's so good.
David, you've made Sam very confused.
Yeah. I've been turned.
You've done a good job here. I'm impressed with this level of conversion.
I'd just like to point out before Sam starts playing Khazad-dûm that I totally did want to play Khazad-dûm first. I will just put it out there. I was going to use Ali's Khazad-dûm.
Farming River, mate. Right?
A long time.
Yeah, this isn't a wish list that I would like to see changed or added to the game. This is more of a personal, selfish wish list. That
the wish list should be that Moria dwarfs can use spears
Yeah, I'm not sure
That
Sam.
should be the wish
I'm not
list.
sure Sam has
No.
quite understood the assignment.
No, I have on the other ones, but this one just really this is a personal one. This is one I just want. So
We'll get you some more dwarves, mate. If
some
you're
more dwarfs maybe on the
really
horizon.
happy, I would love some Khazad-dûm on the channel, to be fair, and
Yeah.
also it would mean that I could use them. So I'm totally down for that as well.
Nobody. They're my, I
As
think that's my new.
all of Ali's Khazad-dûm is in Winchester. So
When there's no supplement coming, I need to find a new. It's New Year, New Army, and
New year, new me.
I have a
check
feeling
you
that
out,
Khazad dwarfs may be that.
Khazad
And
dwarves.
why
That's
not?
a dwarf.
Fuck it.
Fuck
Yeah.
it. Okay. Sam wants some more dwarves. If anyone has some that are, collecting dust, send them in.
I'll put my PO box down below, guys. You send me any
They
models you
will
want.
go to good use. Don't you worry.
I
Okay.
cannot wait for Sam to receive like
Hundreds of
a
dwarves
literal turd in his PO box. He'll get sent
from, I don't know.
Actual feces.
get sent like literal rotting food.
Oh.
Okay, that is going to do it. More dwarves. Not one I expected here today, but
Definitely not.
we move. Ashley, what do you have?
So on my Christmas, what I wish would be in the game is that the Moria Dwarf Catapult Ballista would reroll to hit, reroll to wound, and reroll to scatter, specifically for Sam.
I agree.
You can both play each other with Avenger bolt throws and
Yeah.
ballistas.
No, so my actual this is our third pick, isn't it?
It's your third pick, yes.
My third pick is that the Heirlooms of Ages Past scenario could be changed to an Heirlooms of Ages Present scenario. And that would entail my version of Heirlooms, which I have envisioned. And this is that there are 8 heirlooms scattered all over the board. You then get, in the VPs, you get 2 for broken, unbroken, and 2 for wounded leader, killing leader. And instead of there only being 1 heirloom, there are 8, and they're all like objects, and you get 1 VP for each one that you hold. And that's the only change. The rest of the scenario is Maelstrom. You still have, you obviously have 8 objectives instead of 6, and all of them are an heirloom, and you have to pick them up. They're light objects. They don't give you the sort of transfix on a 1, although they could. I'm not adverse to that,
You're not trying to discover which one is the heirloom. There are just 8 things.
No, that's why they're Heirlooms of Ages Present, because they're all there.
They're all there.
I mean, they could even be only 6 heirlooms, and then you change the VPs to be like 3 and 1 and 3 and 1. I don't mind really, but I kind of feel like the idea of fighting over multiple heirlooms is a lot more fun than trying to find one. And the fact they're only worth 1 VP each means you do have to actually Maelstrom deploy around the board to get all the different individual light objects. And maybe you dig it up, like each heirloom you dig up on a 2+. So out of the 6 heirlooms there are, 1 of them for 1 turn won't be dug up because it's a 1, and I think that would be a way. It completely changes the heirloom scenario, but I do think it just makes it more fun, and it's a completely new scenario, but I just think it is way better than the way heirlooms is currently played. I think me and Sam have spoken about this a little bit, but I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on this sort of proposed change to the heirloom scenario.
I'll go first very quickly. I really like it, although it is completely different. I do agree that I think it's way better. I can't remember if it was just before we started recording or when we were talking about retrieval or something earlier, but I think there's a lack of like a capture the flag sort of like scenario in the game. You've got like seize the prize, but that's incredibly swingy and it doesn't end up playing out that way. Retrieval is sort of like that in theory, but it doesn't end up playing out that way. I think where you've got these multiple sort of things that you're fighting over, they're all worth 1 VP. It's sort of like domination where the break and leader VPs aren't worth that much, and it's all about the objectives. It's the same sort of thing, although they're for much fewer VPs. you know, that is essentially what you're fighting over the entire game to edge out wins and stuff. So I think it'd be a lot more fast paced. You remove the whole kind of standing off on 2 of the heirlooms, not rolling the dice, you know, just getting to run on the board in Maelstrom, try pick them up and try kill your opponent's models that are holding them. That's just a very fast paced kind of game, which I think will be really good.
It also means that you don't necessarily have to, because quite often in heirlooms, people deploy the heirlooms like 6.1 inches away from the board, so you can all dig them up second turn. Whereas if you know that they're all worth 1 VP, you and your opponent are effectively placing 3 VPs around the board. So, you know, it could increase the sort of strategy of placing them. And
so elves put them in woods immediately, but
elves put them in woods, or
that's kind of the same in heirlooms anyway, but
it just makes it a little bit more fun, I think.
Yeah, I do like it. Sam, Vince, what do you think?
I'm a fan. I think you have spoken about this, Ash.
We've definitely spoken about this.
Yeah. I think I prefer the 6 heirlooms and going
as opposed to 8.
Yeah, doing 6
3-1. Yeah.
3-1, 3-1 is better.
Heirlooms has banner VPs, no?
Yeah.
So maybe you go 2-1. Obviously, I don't want banner VPs, but maybe you go 2-1.
No, you sack the banner VPs off.
And then banner VPs.
So if you keep banner VPs, what about
go
6
2-1,
heirlooms?
2-1, and then 1 or 2 for banner.
No, so break would be 3-1. Leader VP would be 2-1, and then the banner's just worth 1 VP,
just
like the heirlooms.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be a way to do it.
In the same boat, yeah.
What do you think, Vince?
Yeah, I like it. The other way you could change it is, I don't know, introducing a modifier for like every time you flip it. But yeah, I think I prefer having just more. It just makes the game more, it would make the game more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's going to do it. Was that your number 3 pick, Ash?
It was, yes.
Okay, yeah, cool. So my number 2 pick is to make Eomer fight 6.
Whoa! I totally like that.
I like it.
Maybe one that viewers may not have expected me to have said just then, because I don't play anything to do with Rohan, although I did play Defenders a little bit this year. But yes, Eomer should be fight 6, and I have got a quote in front of me ready.
Oh my god! Is it the text? Is it the text from the? Oh, this is brilliant.
From the book. So, and I quote from Tolkien himself: Aragorn and Eomer and Imrahil go back towards the city, all 3 extremely weary and unscathed due to their prowess in battle. So that is talking about at the end of the Pelennor Fields, when Aragorn, Eomer, and Imrahil are going back towards Minas Tirith, and they are literally unscathed after the Battle of Pelennor Fields. We saw what that looked like in the films. Imagine coming back to the battle literally unscathed. So Eomer is literally put by Tolkien into the same category as Aragorn and Imrahil, who are both fight 6. So why is Eomer fight 5? I think Rohan having some fight 6, 1 hero would be really good, because right now you can take smaller heroes that are also fight 5 that have strike as well in the Rohan list and are just better value. So why would you take Eomer? That's why you don't really see him. You make him fight 6, maybe there's an argument for it. Make him fight 6.
Yeah,
I think I've heard an argument from I actually can't remember who it's from, but I've heard that the only men, like the race of men models that can be fight 6, have to have like the blood of Numenor, for example, Aragorn, Isildur, Elendil, in order to get over that fight 5 mark. But
I don't hate it. At the same time, warriors of Numenor who have the blood of Numenor, or do they? Because it's not from the bloodline of the kings or whatever, but they're literally from Numenor. But they're
I don't know the argument. I've heard people tell me that. That's why I sort of
right. But
Eomer,
warriors of Numenor, yeah. But if warriors of Numenor, if Warriors of Numenor do as well, because they're essentially from there, so their ancestors or whatever are from Numenor, then they have that blood as well. Then why are they only defense 4 base? But
Make them
little
D10.
fishermen that crawl out of the Smaug-infested lake with fucking fishnets on their heads are defense 4, Sam
The
Graham.
fact that you can get
Fucking what,
Army of
Griff?
Lake the fact that survivors of Lake Town can be defense 5 is criminal.
No, it's not.
But Warriors of fucking Numenor.
The
Oh,
fact that
D4 base.
the army of Lake Town are only D4, and then they get burnt to a crisp by a dragon, crawl out of a lake, as Elliot said, and gain a defense.
And suddenly they have a 12-inch banner. What?
But they lose their fight
Pardon?
value. You idiot.
Yeah, because they can't see because they've got a fucking lobster cage on their head.
With their
Don't talk about
burn.
lobsters.
So anyway, that is my
Don't talk about lobsters.
Oh yeah, no, let's not go there. Moving on. That was my number 2 pick. Vince, over to you, my friend.
All right, get ready, boys. It's about to get really nervous. So I'm going to introduce a new heroic action.
Oh, goodness gracious.
A new heroic action.
A new heroic action for unnamed captains,
Monsters.
unnamed heroes, called Heroic Hold.
Oh,
So
I'm going to
Let's
I'm gonna heroically hold you.
I'm doing a hold me.
Hold my what?
on a turn you lose priority, you may call Heroic Hold, and every model within 6 inches may choose to move last.
On a turn, you lose priority.
Oh no! Wait. On a turn you win priority. On a turn you win priority.
No one would call that, my man.
I was like, where is the benefit here?
Did I say lose? I meant win. On a turn you win priority.
On a turn you win priority, any warrior within 6 inches may
Can choose to move last.
Oh, I see. So it's if you're like Rise of Theoden, you could call a heroic hold on a turn you don't want to win priority, and you can choose to move.
Yeah, someone's starting to think.
Move second, essentially.
Someone's starting to think.
Yeah, but you take a Rise of Theoden, they don't take captains.
But now there would be a
Yeah.
reason to take a captain.
Better.
No, there's still not a reason. You just move 6
And
inches.
you get heroic hold.
You get Holmer.
There's a reason.
I think you should be able to call heroic hold when you're in combat. And then rather than doing strikes, you just hold the hero, which transfixes him for a turn, which then allows another hero to charge and kill him.
I'm not against it. I like it. I think there are lots of positions where armies want to go second. And
Yeah.
if you want to invest a might point to ensure you go second for that turn, then, as the person that now has to move first, they can decide not to, say, move into the charging range even further of the Riders of Theoden army and move away and waste that might point for the opponent. But now, you're also going back as well. So maybe you're, losing ground on the board that you gained, so you can decide afterwards to kind of take that away. But,
I think that might point would be on par with the same with heroic strength or
Yeah.
challenge.
Behave.
But there
Yeah.
could be,
Heroic strength
It's
is
way better than
actually
heroic
useful.
strength.
No, heroic strength is actually useful. Heroic challenge is never useful.
Okay, I think it's on the same par.
taking a heroic challenge and put in heroic hold.
I think it'd be seen the same amount, I'll be honest. Because if anyone goes, I'm gonna heroic hold, then you just stand still. Then you go, God, mate, you move.
Next turn, we're in the same position.
And then you have then you don't move, so your turn is instant. And then they move. And then that turn literally took like 2 seconds.
Okay, Bri. You're 1 might point down.
Yeah, I don't know. Like you play against Riders of Theoden, you then just if it's that bad, you just move out of whatever. I mean, I like the idea because the idea is there. However, I can't see it being practically useful when it comes to a worth a might point.
So you're not been in a situation where you really want to go second.
Yeah. Yeah, but like
that's what this might point would be for.
Vince is like, that is the
yeah, I'd really want to go second, but then I call her at cold, and then my opponent stands still, and now nothing's happened.
Well, no, then you can move forwards, and you're not going to be charged because they've already moved.
Yeah, but a lot of armies don't care about that.
No, the idea is that you don't have to worry about, like, okay, you don't have to be worried about being countercharged, or you don't have to worry about like them reacting to your move. It's like going second is actually really important in like the early phases.
Yes, but then they just don't. Your opponent doesn't allow you to counter react to their move. Now they have to go first. They just make you waste the might point and play another turn.
I actually do disagree, Sam, because there are definitely circumstances where you want to go second, you then win priority, you then call a heroic hold, which then either forces your opponent to use a might point to have a heroic hold off, or
I'd just love to say at the table.
Give me a scenario in which this would occur.
I'd just love to say I'm calling a heroic hold. I think that sounds lit.
We'll do that in the next bat rep. We'll just add heroic hold as
add heroic hold into the game,
and nothing will change.
No, let's let Ash continue because he was definitely onto something.
Yeah, go on, Ash.
I was onto something. So, like, you are approaching a choke point, let's say, and it would be advantageous for you to go second, because the opponent would then move into the choke point, which would allow you to charge your heroes in, as opposed to them being outside of your hero's charging range if you went first. So you in priority, your heroes then can't charge in. So you call a heroic hold, which means you're going to go now second, and your opponent thinks it's a good idea to go into the choke point because it probably is for the overall sort of meta play of the battlefield to have your line in a choke point
that turn, but it means that your opponent's heroes.
But then it means your opponent can go in, and then if your opponent decides not to go into the choke point, you can then push into the choke point yourself, which then gives you a different type of advantage. I mean, I think there are definitely scenarios where going second allow you to react to your opponent that can be advantageous over going first, and using this heroic action is quite a cool way to do that. And I don't necessarily think more heroic actions are necessarily bad. You know, it gives more variety into the game.
I think it would have a lot more play than something like heroic challenge, because there are definitely those kinds of moments.
Definitely better than heroic challenge. Definitely better than heroic strength.
It's not that I disagree the fact that more heroic actions are bad. I do agree. The more heroic actions, the merrier, in my eyes.
Would be cool, yeah.
However, is that might point better for a move? Is a move more impactful than a hold?
And it is a move in a sense, isn't it?
Yeah,
you're deciding when you isn't that the same thing?
Anti-move.
When you call a heroic move, you're calling that so that you can move first.
Yeah,
but you're just calling. You're still deciding when you move.
Yeah, but I'm not arguing that it's not to do with movement. I'm arguing the fact that is a move with that captain profile you've taken for either a march or a move. Is a hold going to gain you more than what a move
it might do?
It depends on the situation. It could be in a particular situation.
Yeah, I would argue in 90% of cases that a move is always going to be more beneficial than a hold would.
I think there are a lot more situations where you would want to move first, yes. But the fact that you could have that option available to you for those ones where it's not.
Yeah, it's definitely. I'm not saying it's I think it could be made even. I think it could be made better still than just having, 6 inches. You can choose to move last.
It's just an option, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an option. It's like, someone takes strength. You can strength if you really
I've
want
seen,
to act
yeah,
wrong.
I mean, I've seen people call moves because they think that going first actually really good, but then it ends up
not being the right
it
choice.
ends up being suboptimal actually.
Knowing when and when not to call moves is an interesting thing.
Yeah.
It's like, I think, so say if you take, a big hero or your medium to big hero, then you take a captain and you have I don't know, something else, like whatever. You don't really want to do your moves with the big hero when you're in combat. So you're kind of relying on your captain to do that. And one move with the captain may potentially not be enough to gain control of that. So I guess it's just over the course of the game, would I rather 2 moves or a hold and a move? 90% of the time, I can imagine it's going to be two moves.
Maybe.
But still, that 10% option.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's bad.
Why
I'm
not
not
have
saying
it in
it's
the
bad.
game?
I'm just saying it's like it's on the same par as like a
Yeah.
or like I think you could even make that better, and it wouldn't be so abhorrently, oh my god, this is game breakingly,
No, but that isn't the aim behind it. I think
Yeah.
overall we're a big thumbs up, Vince, on the implementation.
It's a pretty nervous idea because
Right,
obviously, yeah,
I do
moving
like
second can be
I do like it.
moving second can be very, very advantageous, but
Very,
it's like,
yeah.
is it worth the might point to do that?
It's a corner case kind of thing, just like heroic resolve or something, for example, where like it could.
Yeah, resolve is again one of those.
Yeah, but then when it is, it's like really, really good. So something like heroic hold, it would have its place.
I think it would just add such an interesting dynamic to the game, and it would take a lot of skill to know when to use a heroic hold. Like usually,
I don't think you'd see it enough as you'd want. That's the thing. That's the thing. I'd want that to be implemented, but then to see it frequently.
Then when it would happen, you'd be like, imagine your opponent calls a heroic hold, and you're like,
we're gonna do this. We're gonna heroic hold in a bat rep.
Yeah.
And I don't care what you say.
We won't. We'll just completely forget.
I'm gonna make sure, guys, we heroic hold in
But
bat
we gotta play test this.
No, yeah, we will play test it on bat
play
rep.
test it on the channel, okay? A new heroic action. Yeah.
Heroic hold. I'm gonna write that.
What if how do you fix heroic channeling? Sorry, heroic challenge.
Make it not cost a might point if they decline, first of all.
I like that.
That is really big.
That is important.
Then it'd be like okay, but it still wouldn't be great. Like something like if they decline, like they're not able to do anything that turn. Like because the problem is you can decline and then you can strike.
Have you ever come into a circumstance when heroic challenge was necessary? Because I have once, and it was my opponent who did it to me, and I was like, that's actually very clever.
What was it?
So I think it was in Worcester at the very first event we ever met. Is
Worcester,
Lurtz a hero of valor? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So can Lurtz call heroic challenge?
Yeah.
He can. So my memory has served me correctly then. I had Boromir and like 5 Warriors of Minas Tirith surrounding Lurtz. So he called a challenge against Boromir so that he was only suffering Boromir's strikes as opposed to Boromir and 5 and then support. So like Boromir and 10 guys strikes.
Yeah.
Effectively.
But Boromir can just decline and then just proceed as normal.
But then Boromir's heroics from that point on don't affect.
Fine. Who cares?
It could be the end of the game. You don't really care. You've got another hero.
I think I accepted it at the time, and it was kind of like, oh, that's cool. You know, you saved Lurtz for
no, it doesn't do anything. You should have just declined. I wouldn't have done anything.
You're probably right, but I mean, in that heroic hold, baby.
That's
It's
so
gonna
level.
be my
I
lock
think
screen.
I think
Yeah.
Sam loves it. He it's
I'm gonna
definitely
make
grown
sure
on
this
him.
gets play tested, Vince. Don't you worry.
It's
Buddy.
definitely grown on him.
Sam's a heroic hold stan.
Yeah.
Heroic hold, man.
Can anyone call an heroic hold?
Just captains.
Only captains.
Yeah.
Sam, is the sun in your living room?
Uh,
There you go.
The sun has
Just
entered your living room.
a high five the camera.
Imagine how good captains would be in this game. They can march and they can hold.
Emma, right, let's
I
move on.
think
We
the
spent a
heroic
while
hold-
on heroic hold and heroic channeling. Let's leave it there for another time. Sam, your number 2 pick, my friend.
Oh, it's me, is it?
Yes. Get rid of your heroic hold.
Sam's number 2
Emma.
pick. Let's do heroic hold.
I'm gonna do a really actually I'll save that. I'm gonna say I've said to these guys previously, I don't know what this could encompass. However, I think a new pool of scenarios would be quite nice. Three. I'm not a rules writer or like, but 3 scenarios that are similar in overarching theme that create a new pod. Like, you have maneuvering, unique, capture objectives, kill scenarios. Like one that makes another one of those. I don't know what that pod could be, like what the overarching theme would encompass, but I think I'd like to see 3 new scenarios in the game that can be used as a pod for tournaments, that add a bit of variety when it comes to, how the game's played and stuff. Because then it's not just revising old scenarios, you're learning a whole new play.
I just think new scenarios in general is kind of needed.
Yeah.
Considering some of them, like Storm the Camp and things, for example, were just re-rolled anyway. There's
Obviously, like
three.
Oh God.
3 brand new scenarios.
Would be great.
I just watched Vince walk in then. The blur was so lemon. Because he just sat down. 3 brand new scenarios would be really, really fun. And it wouldn't be too many to sort of like get your head around. So I fully like the idea of a pool 7.
I don't know, like whenever I think of ways, like I go to COD, Call of Duty, when it comes to game modes and stuff, and
Uplink.
Imagine, but like Uplink would be hilarious.
I'm just thinking of like jetpack uplink.
Yeah, or BO3. Yeah, Boromir flying into the ball.
That is terrible from you.
Yeah, but I'm thinking like, is there a way to potentially implement
something like Hardpoint?
Yeah, Hardpoint. So maybe you have
Hardpoint is my favorite by far.
Maybe you have 5 objectives on a board, and like every turn that you have more models than your opponent round these objectives within 3, you get 1 point, and then you tally up the amount of points that you have, and whoever has the amount.
Scenario. That's a great scenario.
Whoever has the most amount of points at the end of the game gets X amount of VPs, whether it's double, triple, more.
It puts value into every turn rather than just the state of the board at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Which I think is
that potentially a way
something like Command the Battlefield, where you get very clenchy bum time at the end when you're measuring out the quarters and everything. It only puts stock into obviously what happens throughout the entire game with which models are killed and everything, and what's left obviously determines what is left where at the end. But I think it's still important to have sort of points put in throughout the game. To get a bank of points, for example, or whatever it is.
Definitely,
I like that idea.
That could be a fun 7th pool. Yeah, for sure.
I don't. That could be an interesting one, but I don't know what else you could
Yeah, I just
So-
think it's more like scenarios in general. Like there needs to be something fresh for obviously us kind of, tournament players like to add in. I
So
think
your seventh pool, Sam, would be all scenarios where you score points throughout the game, which then equate to tournament points later on. Is that right?
I
Yeah.
guess so. That's like
I guess the pod doesn't even have to be like how you said, where something like Hardpoint, where it's about areas on the map. It isn't even that all three scenarios in that pod would have to have that same sort of thing. It could be that the pod is about scoring points throughout the game, but the actual objective, what the scenario is based around could be slightly different, but it's all about getting points throughout the game, which doesn't happen in
Yeah, I think
any
that's what
other
I said, wasn't
scenario
it?
in
Yeah,
any
yeah,
other
yeah.
pod. Yeah. So
I think like that hard point, that could be a pretty easy way to go about it, and if you're tied on one of them, then no one gets a point for it. But then you're encouraged to split up.
So kind of
after,
like,
you know,
could it be, you could effectively play hold ground, but you get a point every turn. In a turn, you have more models in the middle than your opponent.
yeah, but there's 5 objectives instead of 1, and it's within 3 inches instead of 6 per one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you like last turn, you could be losing 8-3, and then you've tabled your opponent to the point where the last turn
They've got like one model left.
you then got all 5 objectives. You get 5 you get 5 tally for that, and they get none. Then you're 8-8.
Yeah.
So obviously it could be massively swingy depending on what you have, or depending how the game goes, but that could be an interesting scenario.
I totally think that's fun. Yeah, I like that.
yeah.
But
Let us know if viewers, if you have any new scenario ideas, because it's something I did kind of have noted down on mine as well. Just new scenarios,
Yeah.
I think is sort of needed. Maybe it's not needed, but it's just something I'd really
nice
like.
to have.
Yeah,
It's
I don't
definitely
think
not needed.
There
It's
are
not
a
like,
lot, but yeah,
if it doesn't happen, the game isn't going to die. In fact, if it doesn't happen, regardless, the game's going to get bigger. Fingers crossed.
yeah, I think it's something that should be done.
But it would be fun.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy Sam's hardpoint scenario? Let us know in the comments below.
No.
What
Let us-
about heirlooms of ages present?
Let us know that as well.
Any other new scenarios that you can conjure up? Let us know in full detailed breakdown of the VP scored.
We wanna hear your ideas on new scenarios.
Make a podcast and link us.
Yeah.
Ashley, your number 2 pick for us.
Okay, so for anybody who's sort of a bit of a Tolkien fan, I would like to see the blue wizards added into the game. I've just
Pretty typical.
because if shout out to anybody who ever played War of the Ring, which was a supplement that they made way back in the day, which actually was the first Middle Earth themed Games Workshop supported game that I played, War of the Ring. You could have a specific like company of wizards with like Gandalf, Saruman, and then you also could have the 2 blue wizards as well. They're in the books. They're so mysterious. I just think it'd be so cool to have 2 new good wizard profiles added into the game. There's the lore backing it up, and then
Why is it not in there? Yeah.
Sorry.
Said why is it not in there?
Why is it not in there? But it also gives because they're so vague. It also gives Games Workshop like almost free scope to write whatever rules they want about these 2 characters. It could be the first sort of twin wizard combo. You have to take both of them, like Eladan and Elrahir. I just think it'd be such a cool profile, and I really would like that in a Christmas wishlist world for them to be added into the game.
One of them better be on Fellbeast, am I right, Vince? Yes, sir.
Leave a like if you also want the blue wizards to be added into strategy battle game.
Yeah,
no, I like it. I think the good faction's missing like those like little casters per se, the ones that are just above shamans and below the main casters. So like the evil factions, they get ring rates and the Mouth of Sauron. Actually, no.
Yeah.
good faction also gets Gildor, but
Not quite.
good, not quite the same level.
The good faction gets Thranduil, mate. He's a great cast.
Yeah.
Go check out our casters tier list. Actually did very well. You guys seem to enjoy that episode.
If you like read into the lore, the Blue Wizards have a power level a lot less than Gandalf and Saruman. So they do fit that exact role
Yeah,
that Vince is describing.
Maybe
as in,
Gildor is a blue wizard.
that is nervous.
Gildor the blue.
The Guild of the Blue. But yeah, that was just a quick one that I thought would be that could be fun and would definitely need scope for fun.
We like new
interesting
profiles.
new
casters.
profiles into the game.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, moving on. My number one pick, I would like more than anything else, if they're going to come out with something new for the game, outside of like an actual profile. What did I say? It was so funny.
I just thought you said I would like more than anything else, and I just thought to be out of debt.
That is probably top of my Christmas list, as I'm sure you can imagine. Anyway,
Sorry, carry on.
Yes, more than anything else, I would like a new plastic warrior kit. More than anything else, I want a new sprue of, say, high elf warriors or whatever it is.
That's such a good choice as well, because the high elves are so boring.
The last time, it doesn't even have to be that, but the last time there was a plastic warrior kit put out that was not the recent Warriors of the Dead that were in the clear plastic. Technically, that is kind of a plastic kit, but it's the same sculpt, so it's
such a dog release.
Yes, terrible. But
that's your new army for 2024.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
There are going to be loads of people saying, actually, earlier when we said about new things, saying, "Oh my god, the most recent release wasn't the Ringwraith Dire armor; it was the clear fucking Dead of Dunharrow." Oh my god, they are supporting the hobby. But no, a new plastic warrior kit. The last time they did that would have been in the Hobbit era when all those models were released. We're literally talking 10 years ago, so that is not a defense or saying, "Oh, that's not that long ago." Like, it's been an incredibly long time since they put out a sprue of, warriors, 24 troops with, when you look at like 40k and Age of Sigmar, they've got all the different options and you can build them in different ways. Like, it's literally the same as all the hero kits that we get. And we feel like, oh my god, like this hero gets all these cool different ways. Like the Ringwraith can, the Witch King can have the crown or not have it, and all these different things. Other game systems enjoy that on every single model, and I would just love there to be intricate, nice plastic kits that you can paint and build in different ways. And we haven't had that for a decade.
10 years ago isn't that long though, Elliot. Come on, mate.
Not nibbling on that line, my friend. I see you cooking, but yeah, they need something out.
He just cast out his line and he's waiting for the Elliot.
I just went, nope.
Just to reel in, just to reel that fish in.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I wholeheartly agree.
I would buy it instantly. I'd buy it instantly.
It would be so cool to have a new plastic kit. And also, plastic is the plastic sprue kits are the best things to build, best things to paint. Citadel Finecast, trash.
That's my fun fact for you guys.
Me so much.
They only sell Games Workshop plastic kits in Warhammer stores. You will never find a Finecast model on sale in a Warhammer store.
That is going to be a challenge, and our viewers are going to.
Now, there are only some exceptions. The only exceptions, to my knowledge, are Warhammer World and Tottenham Court Road in London, because they sell like the Forge World resin kits. I don't know if they sell Finecast, but they definitely sell the Forge World.
They don't sell metal models.
But in a regular Warhammer store, like every single one, you will never find a metal model or a Finecast model.
Do you know why, Elliot, that they changed it from Games Workshop to Warhammer?
It was just a branding thing, essentially. And it does look a lot better, to be fair. It's just the old Games Workshop thing with like the red and everything was just associated with a sort of war gamer kind of vibe, right? But the new Warhammer sort of branding, the staff uniforms in the navy and everything, it just looks a lot cleaner and more presentable and that sort of thing.
Actually, totally loved the
That is what it
old
was.
I do like that.
GW.
I do like that pick, Elliot. However, I'm kind of sad that you didn't say the pick that I thought everyone was going to say.
Or what everyone thought I was going to say.
What everyone should say, and it's my number one. However, we'll go on, and then everyone else should hopefully have the same as me. Otherwise,
So you're saying everyone should have the same pick?
Nobody is going to have the
Correct.
same as you, Sam. Let's be fair.
Correct.
It's going to be that you want 10 more picks or something?
No.
It's going to
Right.
be Saladin needs to be more points.
No.
Okay, that is going to do it. So please, Games Workshop, release a new plastic warrior ASAP, please. Vince, your number one pick. Is Vince frozen?
Oh.
Vince has
He's
left.
just despawned.
How long is it?
Pound it.
Frozen for ages. I don't know.
Noggin.
I love how it only left the moment I said, Vince, can I have your pick?
I
Maybe
think
he sat there like that for ages. I don't know. Okay, well, we'll see if Vince comes back. So, Sam, we will move on to your number one pick.
I want to hear Ash's number one pick because then otherwise,
Okay.
let's go for
Right.
Ash's.
Let's go back.
this is a rant that I have been on before. It's to do with the Shire. Can anyone remember?
Is it to Merry and Pippin's fight value?
Yes, that is exactly right.
There we go.
Right. That is exactly right.
That is
That was actually such a nervous moment from you.
Thanks, mate.
So, Merry and Pippin
Here
in
we
the Fellowship are fight 3. They start the journey.
You have done this
Well,
exact thing.
I've done this exact rant, right? They start their journey in the Fellowship of the Ring at fight 3. Let's go through Merry's achievements. He rides with Eowyn on the Pelennor. He helps defeat the Witch King of Angmar. He then comes home, leads the forces of the Shire against Sharky to victory. And after all of those excellent trials and tests,
Have their little hobbit swords.
he is still fight 3. Right? We'll go for Pippin. We'll go for Pippin. Pippin starts off. He saves Minas Tirith by lighting the beacons. He then helps Gandalf in Minas Tirith to kill many an orc. He then saves Aragorn in the books from being killed by a troll chieftain and then kills a troll chieftain. After all of that, he comes back to the Shire as his captain of the Shire profile and is still only fight 3. I'm so angry about this because, excuse me, when you play Defenders of the Shire, you have your leader and your best combat hero only fight 3 when they're such pivotal characters in the plot and they do so much cool stuff. They should be fight 4. I mean, I'm not asking for much. Fight 4 for the 2 hobbits that basically help save Middle Earth, I think is very reasonable. That is my number one wish. Games Workshop, make Meriadoc captain of the Shire and Peregrine captain of the Shire fight 4. Because if you don't, I will read out their little bibliography at the bottom of the book. And don't test me because I will read it all.
Not again.
Not again. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
eagle-eyed listeners, viewers could have predicted that pick from you,
Potentially.
as I did.
I do like
That
the
was-
pick. However, once again, it is not the pick that I
The
expected.
correct pick.
Correct pick of the game.
Okay, now Vince, as you
Yeah.
you left the moment I went, okay, Vince, can we hear your pick? And then you just disappeared. It was quite lemon. But we've done Ash's pick. So what is your number one pick for us?
Are you all ready for my number one?
Oh shit, here we go.
Please be the right pick.
Imagine if it's the pick that Sam's thought of, yeah. Okay.
No, it's way more creative than that. Okay.
The new heroic action.
No. So it's an upgrade you can give your army leader for 10 points. You can have an army reroll. You can have up to 3 of them, and you just so the leader can take up to 3 for 10 points each. An army reroll.
Oh, okay.
For any dice roll.
Any dice roll in the game.
So you can only spend it
Even-
once.
You can only spend it once, and you cannot
On
reroll.
anything in the game. I'm thinking like Lord of the West.
Okay, yeah, like not
The game
anything
ends on
in
a
the
1 or
game.
2.
I guess I mean like combats, spells, like not like
You could re-roll a heroic strike roll.
maybe not that. So you have to.
That's probably the best thing.
It would be. I don't know actually. I haven't fine-tuned
about
this.
this pick very.
I haven't
think about this very-
fine-tuned this, but I thought I'd
Fine-tuning
leave
it now,
the
but it's
floor. I leave the floor to you to like.
Me when I lose a deployment, I'm gonna re-roll that actually.
Yeah.
10 points. Oh shit! I still lost. Okay, I'll spend.
My inspiration for this was like those moments where like they come, oh Vince, you know, just that last combat, I just botched and completely lost the game. Like I rolled a 3 high with my hero. All I needed to do was like roll a 4, and I would have won.
Yeah, to be fair,
Like-
imagine like if you spent 30 points on 3 rerolls and then you go into the last turn, which is going to be a key turn. You've got all 3 rerolls like stacked up. That's lit.
Yeah,
Just go, lol, lol, lol. Just move on to you.
Danny.
Daddy, yeah.
I like it. I think it sounds pretty cool.
It'd be very
I-
interesting.
yeah. It's just something to keep in your back pocket.
Is it
Just like-
only Heroes of Legend that can do it?
No, I'd say just any leader for 10 points, up to 3. You can have up to 3 for 10 points each. It's just like a leader upgrade, and you can use them whenever you want. So just that get out of jail free card at the end, where you feel like you deserve to win the game, but your dice have let you down.
You
And
invest 10 points. You play 10 points down essentially, so that you have that one moment.
yeah,
That you can
that one moment where it's so important that you need to kill that last warrior to break them to win the game, and you just haven't quite done it, and then you have those rerolls just to get you over the line, and then you don't have to start crying about
What
that.
about rather than re-rolling, you just get +1?
I like the reroll. Reroll is just more exciting. +1 is just too.
It
It's
is.
almost too like definite. You got might points for that. So for 10 points, just a reroll, just a straight reroll,
Yeah.
just another chance.
Yeah.
And I reckon everyone would take 3.
I'm not sure. No, I don't agree with that. I think 30 points is a
You
lot.
wouldn't spend 30 points just for that. You
30
wouldn't be
points is a
like,
lot. 30 points is a lot.
yeah, that's why it's 10 points each.
3 of them would be
5
really,
points
really
was-
good.
I
But
think
you're-
5 points is too cheap. 10 points is like a decision. Like you'd be like, oh, maybe I take 1.
I think you take 1, and and you like, because there's always that one sort of roll, right? And you try to just not use it the whole game, and you wait for the really pivotal.
Yeah, for that last key
Maybe
turn.
I take 3 for 30 points, or 6 hobbits.
Yeah, 30 points is a big investment, but 10, maybe you get away with 10.
I'd take 2, I think. Yeah, because if your average like troop is say 8 points, I'd get rid of 2 troops and then get rid of another one, or remove 4 pieces of war gear from shields or whatever.
Yeah, to make it fit.
Then to be two models down. by
Yeah, I
having
mean, consider this is like it could win you the game. It's like it could be game changing, right? How many games have you played where you're like, oh, I just botched that last combat, or you're desperate for that like reroll. Like that reroll could just basically win you the game.
Andy, imagine if I had 2 rerolls in the back rep when Thorin didn't
Exactly.
Oh. Yeah, no, I back it.
Yeah, I like it.
Isn't the pick that it should have been?
Tell us your final pick, Sam.
So
Sam, this is going to be such a bad pick. I cannot wait.
I don't know if I've missed the memo here. However,
Did.
it may be another give me Khazad Dwarfs for Christmas, please, Santa vibe. However, my top 5, my number 1 wish list for the next for 2024 for the league in general, whatever,
Some more
is
guys.
the Gollum's Gamers winning the teams league.
Oh, let's go.
I think
that is a great wish.
we didn't have, we had 7 out of 9 people. 2 people were pretty inactive last year. However,
We played 2 people down and we still came third.
Yeah, and
the fact that Jack went to 1 GPHO event, got 34 points.
it was less than that.
Still gets a trophy. I think it was 34.
He gets a third place medal.
Still gets a third place team medal. That's got to be the highest events to award ratio from where he finished.
Now we are giving away spoilers for our season.
No, we're not. No, we're not. I just said
end of season.
We have increased our potential with some transfers.
New picks.
I meant more on the fact of how we finished that we came third.
Oh,
So are we gonna
that's fine.
But there was a live stream on Facebook literally showing that. So
are we going to do our season review, and then the next episode we'll introduce our new team members?
that can be arranged.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, this is what I said by all your picks were wrong. They should have been.
That is fair. I do
My top 5 should have been: I want to win the league, Gollum's Gamers win the team league, England win the World Cup, I win the lottery.
Like
Sound good.
I hit the fairy.
Yeah, I win £100 on the goose.
I'm chasing the goose.
Chasing the goose.
That is
I like that from you,
that's my
Sam.
one.
I did not expect that, and that is what I would call a tippable pick from you, mate.
As captain currently until how many days is it?
Until the torch
You
is
have
10 days.
10 days of captaincy left.
As current captain,
Straight up.
I wish prosperity upon our team.
lovely. Okay.
Sam, that's very sweet, but I still think you've misunderstood the assignment.
Well,
You didn't create
So-
any action.
so be it. That's how it is.
Exactly.
Hashtag, please send me Morio Dwarfs.
You heard it here first.
Okay.
Okay.
Elliot, to end the video, can I read out Merry and Pippin's
No,
bibliography?
no, please
No, we are not going to be adding another
Oh.
4 minutes of meaningless content
God.
to this episode. The viewers will be teased for a later date. Yeah, for when you can read that out.
You can
They
read.
can't just
Merry
go
and
and read that
Pippin's.
on fucking Lord of the Rings, the book anyway.
I'm sure they won't have to wait too long before you ask again.
It'll be
Uh,
soon.
Oh, very quick thing though. Did we have any honourable mentions from anyone?
No, I struggled picking 5 as it is.
The honourable mention for me was back to the monsters. The fact that monsters just need to be better.
Okay. Anything from Vince?
I did have one about spear supports and like only being able to spear support the same faction, but I don't think that anyone would like that. So
We've had this conversation before.
yeah, we have talked about it, and it didn't go down well.
It's just in the back burner of your brain for forever.
I can't believe. I'll give you a few honourable mentions here. The fact that Elrond isn't Fight 7 pisses me off.
Yeah, that is odd. Yeah, I don't know. He literally led the armies at the Last Alliance, but yeah,
My
Yeah,
guy
it's
is one of the
sports.
oldest living things in Middle Earth, and he's not Fight 7 yet. That
how
annoys me.
Gil-galad supports the same fight value. The Kingsguard, like how are they the same fight value as Elrond, who's leading them? Yeah,
I
that
know that's just outrageous.
yeah,
Let me
I
think.
do like that one.
Another one. There's actually links to Sam's Khazad-dûm new faction, and that is that Mardin, his whole point is that he's a spear support, but when he spear supports, he only gets 1 attack. So he should have a special rule to be when I spear support, I get 2 attacks. That pisses me off. Onwards.
We're going through our top 5 changes again because that was in the.
That was in the top 5 changes, yeah.
Anything else?
Sauron not
Oh,
having monstrous charge.
right. Okay.
Well,
Let's. Right. Well, I'm actually saying things that we didn't already just put in another video. Azog and Bolg shouldn't be fight 7. I think that's quite a universal thing that lots of people will agree with.
yeah, they're not good enough to be fight 7.
They shouldn't be fight 7. If Azog's going to be 7, then Bolg definitely shouldn't be fight 7 because Bolg is spawn of Azog the Defiler.
Yeah, if one of them's fight 7,
The other one has to be
the other one should be fight 6.
It has to be that way around.
Definitely.
Either of them should be fight 7, really, considering Elrond is only fight 6. And the other thing is that I would really love if they, because obviously with the kind of links back to my point earlier about more support for the game, about whether they're going to do something. It probably would have happened by now, but I know Warhammer have recently announced a big new deal with Amazon. If they were to do like a Rings of Power line that tied into the game.
Yeah.
I think that would be really, really cool if they were to do like Rings of Power models essentially based on the show.
Yeah, fair.
I
like
think it would be a big.
I mean,
really
more models
big
is always more. It's
into
more
the game.
cool. So
Yeah, but it could be like a source book kind of thing with the key Rings of Power stuff, and it ties into the current stuff. Like that would be a really cool way to do it. And I think lots of people would be really interested in that. So those are my honourable mentions. Anything else from anyone before we close out? Ashley, final word.
Of course, probably not the final word. I think we've touched upon this multiple times, and that is Sam's neck is breaking.
You're going to say Sauron.
It's not Sauron. It's the fact that the named ring wraiths aren't good enough to be taken in a Mordor list, and I think that either the Witch King needs to be nerfed, or the named ring wraiths need to be made slightly better. Almost all of them, because
there's no reason to take them.
There's no reason to take them. Why is Sam disagreeing with that?
I thought you said
say your previous point about the Witch King needs to be nerfed.
So the Witch King needs to be nerfed. So you don't think that the is that Julius Caesar there? So you think just the Witch King needs to be nerfed and not the regular race made better? Damn, Daniel.
Okay, that is going to do it. So
I've got so many more honorable.
That was our Christmas wish list. Although not all of them were things that don't currently exist. Some of them were things which you can already go and purchase from the Warhammer store. But that is neither here nor there.
If you want and wish that the Gollum's Gamers win the league next year, leave a like.
Let us know.
Let us know.
Please. And if you want Heroic Hold in the game, leave us a comment.
Comment below if you'd like to see Heroic Hold in the game.
Right.
I actually think that Vince gets a shout out for coming up with the most interesting and like, what's the word?
Sam is simping
intuitive
hard
ideas that are out of all of us. He came up with some actually interesting things.
I'm going to keep this on my
Sam just said, I want Moria Dwarves.
Sam went, I want more dwarves.
I had a selfish moment, okay? That's what they're on my Christmas list. And you've asked me to write a Christmas list.
I had the most hobby-related one, so shout out to me for that, being a hobbyist. Right,
can we ask
some terrain, talking about being a hobbyist?
Can we ask the viewers to leave their top 5 Christmas lists?
And I've already typed such an in-depth comment by now.
I know. We're going to get at least 100 comments.
We will. It'll be
100 comments and Elliot will dress up as Zoidberg.
The last time we asked for something, it went a lot better than anyone expected, myself included.
Hold fire, everyone.
I'm just going to spam comment on the video.
I'm sure we'll get 100 likes. Denby will just comment like 50 times.
100 comments and we'll all go as Zoidberg.
You think I'm going that low again? If we get 10,000 comments, I will go.
God, Ash, me and you have got a task on our hands, mate.
I'm not setting the bar that low again. I learned my lesson. And on that bombshell of a moment there, that is going to wrap it up for our Christmas episode. So, like I mentioned at the start, not too sure when we'll have our next bat rep or podcast, but hopefully sometime over the next couple of weeks at the very latest. I'd like something up before that. But thank you very much, everyone, for watching another episode of the Gollum's Gamers podcast.